Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
All right. Now is a good time if you want to grab a coffee, a little bit of water, something to snack on. We'll get started probably around 11:05, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
How's our audio coming in? Haven't used this system before.
Coming in perfectly.
Okay.
Read you loud and clear. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Gotcha.
All righty. How's everybody doing today?
Hey. Doing good. Doing good.
Good. Okay. I
Yeah.
have a lot of busy work today, so excuse me. I'm not super dressed up because I'm going to be working from home all day. But let's get started in a second. So for most of the people on this meeting are going to be new to Ignite. This is our first Ignite for this month, and welcome everybody. A little bit about this class. We're going to be going on the practical, on the practice side of real estate, how to actually make money in this business. A lot of it is about lead generation, and part of the lead generation aspect, what we like to do is we like to keep everybody accountable for how often we are going out there and being proactive with our conversations and communicating with our clients and sphere of influence, reminding them that we're in real estate. So part of doing that is we're going to do our daily reporting, which is going to be part of our, let's see, daily 10-4. So what you're looking at right now, can everybody see my screen? It should be a big old spreadsheet.
Yes.
Perfect. So some people I look familiar. Amber, I see you there. Thanks for the text this morning. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over our daily reporting numbers. So if you look at this spreadsheet over here in the top corner, the top corner says agent. So that'll be one of your names. It'll be per day, per week, number of actual calls made and actual contacts. So what we're doing is I'm going to ask everybody on this list, how many proactive outreaches can you commit to per day? And then we're going to extrapolate that number, so what it is per week. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask you, how many calls have you made since our last class? So if I'll do a quick one real quick with Amber. Let's see, there you are, Amber. So Amber has 5 calls per day she's committing to. And then what that looks like per week is 35 calls or contacts per week. Just so you know, when I say 5 per day, that's actual contacts. So if you can do 5 contacts within just 5 phone calls, that's great. But for some people, it might take 20 calls per day to get those 5 contacts. So Amber, how many, gosh, it's been a couple weeks since we've had an Ignite class. So let's just go back from last Wednesday. How many calls have you made since then?
I've actually just been studying for my exam, so I haven't really made any calls this past week. I did touch base with my friend about what he's looking for. And basically he wants to start working on his current house to get it ready to sell before he really starts looking a lot in Santa Clarita. So I'm just waiting on him.
Sure, not a problem. So I'll throw you down for 1
All right.
and 1. Awesome. Very cool. And don't worry if you fall short. We're all at different levels and stages in our real estate journey. So if you just have a couple, that's fine. If you have 100, that's even better. So no worries there. Good job, Amber. And I know that you're being very proactive in outreaching to your clients. So good stuff. Okay, is anybody else on this call returning? Let me see. If I miss you, feel free to speak up. No, it looks like we got pretty much all new people. Good, good.
I'm
Okay.
returning.
There, I think I see Cindy. There's Cindy.
I wasn't sure. I don't know. I don't remember if I did number 1 or not. I think I need 1 and I'm not sure.
All good. Well, we're happy to have you. Where are you, Cindy? There you go. And it looks like you've had 1, but we'll give you another one. And I'll just count it for whatever you're missing. Okay, Cindy, how many calls have you made since last Wednesday, or how many contacts have you made?
I disengaged. I made 2 contacts though.
Okay.
I just took a mini hiatus.
3 and 2. I'll call it that. Very cool. Well, I hope everything's all good in your end.
Thank you.
But sometimes we need a little mental break occasionally, so no worries there. All righty, so going down the list, I'm just going to go back up to the top. I have, okay, I'm not going to try the first name. Cho, how are you?
Good, how are you?
How do I pronounce your first name?
Hayon.
Hayon. Okay, perfect. Well, that's easy enough. Awesome. Cho. Awesome. So are you a new agent, experienced agent, just taking a little deeper dive?
I'm actually new. I joined I recently got my license last year around August, and I joined Keller Williams around November.
Cool.
And yeah, so I'm pretty new to the number and the Ignite. So that's why I'm taking my first class today. It's just kind of want to familiarize everything.
All good. We all start somewhere. So awesome. So I don't know if you heard, but what we're going to be doing is this is the perfect time to set ourselves up for success. And how many calls per day can you commit to? And again, there's no right or wrong number. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. Something that is doable for you, but a little bit of a stretch. We want to try to expand our comfort zone just a little bit. And then eventually we can build on that. So right now, how many do you think you can commit to per day? And by the by, contacts really mean a plethora of different things. It could be a text message, as long as it's 2 ways. It could be a phone call. It could be a Instagram direct message. It can be Facebook direct messages. It could be email, as long as you're getting a 2-way communication. It could be postcards, as long as you're getting some form of a 2-way communication. So there's a lot of, it could be walking down the street, frankly, and talking to somebody at the grocery store. So how many per day can you commit to having an active conversation about real estate?
I think I could start with about like 20, 25.
Per day. Badass. I like it. Very cool. And so that's going to turn into, excuse me, I haven't had enough coffee today, so I am going to use my calculator. 140 per week. Awesome. And for right now, I'm guessing we have zeros?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, good job. Those are some awesome, awesome numbers. And I promise you, if you keep those numbers up, you'll be surpassing me in real estate. I have a couple numbers going, and I'm not keeping up with my lead generation like I should, and I'm going to. But awesome, good job. Thank you, Hayon. Hayon. I'll get it soon.
Thank you.
It's
okay.
weird for me to get it right though. Okay, Matthew, Rudolph, and is it just you, Matthew, or is it you and your wife?
It's Anna Marie and Matthew together. We're partners.
Awesome.
Yep, we're coming in as a team, coming in hot.
Okay. Anna's name is cut off on my screen, so it's Marie. Did I spell it right?
And the last name is, well, you can say
It's
it.
Arredondo. It's like Redondo Beach. You just add an extra AR to the beginning.
Okay.
Arredondo. ARR. Sorry, hun. ED.
Uh-huh.
As in David. ONDO.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have you both separate on my
Okay,
sheet.
that's fine. It's
Yeah,
a
hold
long
us accountable separately. We're good.
name.
Awesome. Matthew Rudolph. Very cool. Okay, so Anna Marie, you first. How many calls can you commit to per day? And then we'll do the per week.
10.
Awesome. That makes my math easy. 70 per week. And do you have anything so far that you want to report, or are we at zeros right now?
I do, but I'm kind of a little bit, I'm not sure exactly how I would report it because everything's been in person, which is kind of strange, but it has been.
Even better.
You know what? I haven't had a goal yet. So how about that? And I'll report it because I'm gonna keep following up with them. So it'll be
We'll put you down for zeros for right now.
okay.
Okay. And did I get did I get your, yeah, I got your one. Okay. Perfect. Good job. And Matthew, how about you, sir?
I'm gonna go for 20 a day
Boom.
and 0 so far.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Nice. Good job. Good job. Keep it up, everybody. Okay. And then next on my list is, your name is not showing on mine. It's Jamie. Jaime.
Yes. Jaime, Jimmy, synonymous. So however
Okay.
you'd like to call me. I think for most people, Jamie works a little bit better.
I'll
Or
do
I'm sorry,
Jamie.
Jimmy. rather than
Which do you prefer?
I go by Jaime. Jaime.
Awesome. I'll go by Jaime.
That's the correct pronunciation. Jaime. Yes. Thank you for having me.
Jaime.
Today's my first day. Yes, sir.
Welcome, welcome. How many contacts can you commit to per day?
Mm-hmm. So I'll go with 10. Just a little bit of background for me is I have had a license since 2007. So I've been practicing real estate since then. So
Nice.
I'm just switching over offices at this point and looking forward to working in this side of the market. So
Awesome, man. Well, awesome. Thank you for joining. I think you'll like it. I came from Rodeo Realty first, and I came here and I was like, whoa, I blew up. Great.
Night and day. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Well, welcome. Absolutely. Do you have any numbers you want to report right now, or are we just going to start at 0 and build up?
Well, I have 3 properties in escrow right now. I don't know if you want to add those somehow, but I am working with 2 buyers. Aside from that, 3 properties in escrow.
Awesome. Call it 5 and 5. There we go.
Okay.
Good job, Jaime. Good stuff.
Thank you.
All righty. Moving on down. I just have your email. I can't see your name. Lebouch. I think you're on mute.
There, can you hear me? It's
Yeah.
Craig Hodis.
Craig,
Hi there. Nice
okay.
to see you. Thank you. I'm in my car now, so I'm driving.
No worries, brother. Okay, how
Sure.
many contacts can you commit to doing per day and then per week?
I could do at least 10 to 15 a day times 7 or 6, so 70 a week.
Let's call it 12 per day, because I want you to stretch it a little bit. And
Okay.
then times 7 will be 84.
I could do this.
I know
I joined the office last week. I'm waiting to set up my email and all that stuff. So it'll probably be in a week's time that I'll be full force.
No worries, man. And you know what? The best, and we'll go into that in a second, but the best form of real estate lead gen that I can think of is picking up the phone and just calling your friends and family, and not starting with, "Hi, this is Jared with Keller Williams, Beverly Hills." No, I would never call my friend that way. I would call my friend and I'd be like, "Hey, bud, what's up? How's your day going?" "Oh, pretty good. Yeah, I just, I haven't talked to you in a week. Just wanted to see how you've been, blah, blah, blah. How's work?" They talk about work, and then naturally they're going to ask me, "How's work going?"
Exactly.
Real
I
estate's
agree.
great, actually. Funny you should ask. Have you ever thought of blah 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 blah? Maybe not that can, but you know that's what I like to do, and it just turns it into a natural conversation, and the conversation just kind of goes down a natural course, a natural path, and they don't know
Sounds
you're
about right.
generating. Yep, and they don't know you're lead generating, but you do. So
Exactly.
good stuff. Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Absolutely, man. Well, cool. I mean, did I get your one? Yeah, I did. Okay. And do you have anything to report, or we're zeros right now?
Me, 0.
Okay.
Actually, no, yesterday I met someone at the gym, start talking because I talked to everybody, and turns out this little 24-year-old tech guy is looking in the Palisades for about 4 to 5 million.
Of
So
course.
I said, are you working with anyone? He said, no, I'd love to work with you. So I followed up already once, and I'll call him again today to see if any of the homes that I sent to him have interest. Ooh,
Attaboy.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to drive. I'm having the worst time here. Sorry.
No. I'll let you drive. Good stuff. Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Greg. All right,
Thank
Morgan
you.
Dixon.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Dixon. I called you Dixie. My bad.
It's okay. I'm from Alabama, so it kind of fits.
Hey, I love people from the South. That's awesome.
Thanks.
All righty. So how many can you commit to per day?
So I want to start with 15. I think that's a good number for me. I actually just passed my exam last week, end of last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm finishing up paperwork at the brokerage and everything. So this is my first official week doing the Ignite and starting out. So I think those are realistic numbers for me currently.
Get it, girl. I love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Awesome. And do you have any numbers to report yet, or we're starting with zeros?
Starting at 0 and just going from there.
Zeros into heroes. I love it. Okay. Thank you so much for contributing. Awesome. Batya.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Okay, so I will start with 10 calls a day.
Awesome. And do we got any numbers to report, or we're going to start with zeros and turn them into heroes?
Well, hopefully we'll turn these into heroes, but I'm currently working with 2 buyers. One landlord that we're working out a couple of logistics, and hopefully I can help him out. And then 2 appointments today showing potential tenants for leases.
Nice. So that sounds like it's like 5 people you're
Yeah.
talking to. Nice. Atta girl. Good job.
Yes. Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Good job. Good job. All right, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. I could commit to 10 a day.
Perfect. Love it. And do we have any numbers yet?
Yes. I have, let's see, 2 buyers and 3 prospects.
Awesome. Are you talked to all of them in the last week?
Yes.
Atta girl. Good job. Awesome. Keep it up. Okay. Moving on down. Siren, do I already have you on here? You there, Siren? Nope. Going once, going twice. All right. No worries. All righty, Lady Gomez. You there, lady? You might be on mute. All right, sounds good. We will go back to these 2 later if they come up. And I think that is everybody. Yes, I believe that's everyone. Okay, perfect. So today we are going to be going over our first Ignite class. Hold on one second, please, while I bring up all the fun information we're going to go over today. 1 second. So by the by, before we get started, Cindy and Amber, do you have any interesting things you want to share over the last week or whatever? Any, did you do any cold calling or anything that didn't quite go as well as you thought it was going to go? Because like I always like to say, I like to talk about, things that went went bad rather than good, because if it went good, that's good. But I like to learn from our mistakes or from things that didn't necessarily go so well. Anything that we want to report on that?
I have a renter, and I keep on showing her properties and stuff, and there's always like, I get it, like there's always going to be something, but I mean, it's to the point where it's like it's not going to be ideal because of the location that you're making. It's like North Hollywood, Pacoima area, Van Nuys area.
Right.
And I've already told them like my perspective as to why they should be buyers if they're going to be renting a place out for 3,500.
Yeah.
So
So is this the person you were talking about who is the renter who said they want to buy, but they haven't talked to the lender
yeah,
yet?
yeah.
For those kind of people, you might have asked May to make a phone call directly?
Not, not directly, but I asked her for a scenario to give me like a scenario.
Okay. I would ask May to just reach out directly.
Okay.
Because sometimes it might just help. The way I look at it is, it's like we're so used to Amazon that we want things instantaneously and on demand. And if all of a sudden you say that you have to go do an extra step to make contact with somebody, millennials and Gen Z people, we're like scared to pick up the phone sometimes. We're like, oh gosh, I actually have to talk to somebody. Like, oh.
Right.
Like, have you ever seen that like meme? Like, you want to know how antisocial I am when I go to the gas pump and it says "See teller," I just leave. Like, I don't know if you've seen that meme, but unfortunately, a lot of people have gotten so used, and especially during this pandemic, have gotten so used to just like being behind. Like, for example, I don't think anybody has their camera on right now on this Zoom class.
No.
So, for example, everybody is like scared to be in person. Like, even if it's just like virtually, people like prefer virtual meetings without the camera on. So, which by the by, I recommend everybody to turn their cameras on just because it keeps us more engaged and stuff like that. But, my point is I think sometimes if you just put it into the lender's hand, one, it allows you to kind of, step away from it a little bit, and you can just check in with May. Hey, have you contacted them? Hey, have you contacted them? And just kind of leave it there. And then, if they're not ready to buy right now, give up on the buy thing and just try to represent them on leases, because I hate to say it, I hate leases, but they do turn into buyers eventually. So, it might not be time for them right now. And I might agree with you that it is in their best interest to buy, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink.
Yeah.
And, eventually we just kind of have to stop with trying if it's not going to work, if frankly. And then plus you can help them on the lease side, and so what, you get a $1,000 paycheck instead of a $15,000 paycheck. Yes, we want the bigger one, but so what, it is what it is. But I can tell you're frustrated, because I'd be frustrated too. I've dealt with that a lot, and it's very frustrating. Hi, Archer. How are you? My dog wants to come in, so if you can hear whining, I apologize. But Cindy, stick with it. Just maybe turn them into renters, and put the ball in May's court and ask her to kind of follow up for you. The way I look at it is, our lenders, our escrow companies, our transaction coordinators are part of our team, and we can utilize them not only just as a resource for lending or a resource for our transactions, but also in kind of like a lead generation tool, especially lenders. Have them do the calls for you. If that's the hurdle that we need to get over, put that in the lender's court. If it's driving you nuts, at first, of course, be very involved, but you've been working on these people for a while, and I don't want to see you pull your hair out. Okay.
Is it fair can you hear me? Can be heard?
Yep.
Is it fair then to even suggest, I personally have worked with in different industry, people that have taken so much time and either, excuse the French, shit or get off the pot. If they're unwilling to pre-qualify and see what they're able to do, if they won't go forward with that, I would say, I wish you luck, but don't you feel like a lot of your time is being wasted, or no? Forgive me for asking that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hold on. I'm going to let my dog in real quick because he's just going to whine at the door.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Come on. Yeah, right. I know. Hi, buddy. Hi. Yeah, so I agree with you. You know, it's very frustrating. Oftentimes it does feel like shit or get off the pot. And believe me, I speak a lot of French.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. So yeah, it does get frustrating, but keep in mind though, that part of our job, you know, is to deal with one of the most stressful transactions a person will have to make in their lifetime. For many people, the purchasing of a condo, you know, even if it's a $500,000 condo, you know, that's going to be one of their most stressful transactions in their life. Yeah, we do deal with, you know, $1 million price ranges, and sometimes we deal with lower price ranges, but we have to, you know, kind of understand that for some people, they just might not have the capacity to really understand how important this is for them to be a homeowner. And if they don't get it, you know, then fine, we can help them on the lease side. And then we can use that as a lead generation tool for their friends and family who do have the competency to understand the importance of being a homeowner, and especially if they're financially able. So, you know, it's annoying, sure. Of course, we want that sale, but sometimes you just have to turn them into a leaser or just keep them as a leaser. If they refuse to take our recommendations and to, you know, go through with the pre-approval process, what else can you do? You know, you've done everything. So, right. You know, I wouldn't say get frustrated with them. I just say turn them into a leaser and represent them on the lease side. Because you know what? I'd rather get something than nothing. Because
well, I agree with that, but it sounded like from the short time I heard the other woman speak, forgive me, I don't know her name. It sounds like there's not going to be a perfect unit for them. They keep looking and picking things apart. Is it fair as an agent to say, you know, there's so much in the marketplace that's not the realtors don't represent on Zillow, or they might be better off. He might be better off. They might trust you, and they might find their house, and then when they're ready to buy, they'll buy it with you. Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a couple who I was helping, and I should have just said no to begin with. They were looking for a studio apartment to rent, and their budget was like $1,300. And you know, granted, I went to middle school with this girl, so I didn't want to just be like, you know, screw you, I don't want to deal with this.
Right.
I was like, you know what, I'm going to help her out, and if I can find something, that's great. And sure enough, like in that price range, oopsies, what did I do? Hold on. Sure enough, in that price range, I'm dealing with a lot of, you know, agents who don't want to pay a buyer's commission, because for them to be taking a $1,300 lease listing, it's going to pay for them to represent both sides, not one side. So yeah, I told them eventually, I was like, listen, you know, this guy's not picking up my phone call, but I have a feeling that if you call, they will pick up. And sure enough, you know, they did. And so I just had to pass that on and just say, hey, go for it. You know, I'm here to help you. If you want me to review the lease, you know, for free, no problem. I'm willing to do that. And
that
sure
sounds
enough,
about right.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, listen, you know, we're in a service industry business, and, you know, for us to review a lease, you know, contract, sure, it's taken, you know, 30, 40 minutes out of our day if we're really, really, you know, reviewing it. But you know, that's part of the game sometimes. And hopefully, you know, they have a boss or a parent or something who they're like, you know, this guy helped us a lot, and, you know, I think you should give him a shot. So, you know, definitely okay. Yep. Absolutely. And unfortunately and / unfortunately enough, we can fire our clients. We don't have to be fired. We can fire them and just say, you know what, it's not working. But I urge you all to exhaust all resources before you do that. So anyway, in the chat box, I just want to let everybody know that I included our link to our materials today that we're going to be reviewing. I just sent it in again. So if you want to take a second and click on that so we can get all of our fun materials. This is a 70-page lesson. I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible. There's going to be some sections that I'll skip. Some of the stuff, I've done this class quite a few times, so I'll be able to turn this into more of a conversation, hopefully, than so much as a lecture. So the more you are engaged, the easier this class goes. I will definitely say that. And away we go. So welcome to Ignite. Get your head in your game. Get your head in the game. So in the following over here, there's going to be some questions. And if we were in person, I would have you all writing this down and we'd share, but let's turn this into more of a conversation. So get your head in the game, write your answers and discuss the following questions in class. So for everybody who's on this class right now, have you reached your financial goals in your career so far? Why or why not? So for a lot of us in this class, we're probably changing careers right now, getting into real estate. So have you met your financial goals yet? Anybody want to
No.
share? I
No.
haven't. Before I got into real estate, I haven't. In some years in real estate, I haven't, frankly, done it in real estate as well. But that's what this class is for. What is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others? Can anybody think what makes a real estate agent more successful than others?
Never gives up. Consistency.
Ooh, I like that one. Consistency. Consistency is huge in this business. And we're going to learn a lot about consistency and time blocking through the following 12 modules. Beautiful. And why don't knowledge? Yep, I agree with you on that. For example, I'm in escrow right now in a property in Santa Barbara, and which is not my local MLS, obviously. I'm in the Beverly Hills office. But knowing our contracts in and out and our contingency periods and also the cutoffs, for example, if they don't serve me a notice to perform, do I have to remove the contingency? Anybody?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
If I'm in a contingency period, let's say I have a 10-day inspection contingency period, and all of a sudden, by contract, I'm supposed to remove the contingency on the 10th day. I don't remove that contingency though. And the agent asked me, hey, Jared, are you going to remove the contingency? And I'm like, yeah, we're getting around to it. The 11th day comes, the 12th day comes. Is that contingency still in place?
I would say
unless
no.
it's on the contract.
It is actually, because contingencies cannot be passively removed. It has to be actively removed. So
unless it's said on the contract, right, that automatically it gets removed after 10 days. I've seen that in the RPAs before.
You'd have to specifically write that in. Yes. So if you specifically write that in and you already have your client sign something stating that, then sure, I would never have my client sign that. Maybe you could do that as in terms of trying to make your offer more attractive in representing a buyer. I could see that, absolutely. But for most cases, if we keep the RPA as it is, you have to actively remove the contingency. So until they send me a notice to perform, I haven't removed any contingency. We're still in contract. So that's something that's interesting. So being consistent, knowing your contracts, being knowledgeable is going to make you a very, very good agent. Now, question, why don't all agents do this? Why don't all agents, keep up on their knowledge with contracts, stay consistent with their lead generation and all that fun stuff?
It's easy not to.
Yeah, it's really easy not to. One thing, what I did before real estate is I was a senior project manager for a construction company. And I did a lot of business with them. We took the company from $6 million a year annual to $20 million a year annual underneath my project management implementations, I guess you could say. And we did a lot of work, but was I working on my own, or was I working with a team and a boss over my back, kind of cracking the whip, making sure I was doing what I'm supposed to do? Yeah. I had a boss that I had to report to. I had a whole crew of employees underneath me that were reporting to me. There was a lot of accountability built into that model. In real estate, we're our own boss, except for our clients. I guess that you can call them our bosses. But other than that, if you don't want to show up to work one day, you can sit on the couch and just watch cartoons and just have fun, or the news or whatever. So the point is it's very easy to become complacent in this business because we're our own boss. And so what I like to do to counter that is I create a very, very strict schedule for myself, and I make sure that I stick to it. So how do we feel about that? What could we do? I think I just said it, but what could we do to stay consistent?
Have a routine.
Have a routine, absolutely. And maybe create something, like account, what's the word I'm looking for?
Accountability.
Oh, accountability, that's right.
Right.
Absolutely, 100%. So what we do in this class, which is, why a lot of existing agents go, take this class as well, is it creates a little bit of an accountability aspect. I'm going to ask everybody, how many calls did you make this week? How many contacts did you make? How many appointments are we setting? And creating this little bit of accountability allows us, all of a sudden it's like Monday's coming up and it's like, oh shit, I haven't called all these people. I'm going to get the phone right now because Jared's going to ask me what happened with your calls. And I'm not mean. I'm going to say good job no matter what. But still, it does create a little bit of an accountability for us all.
Can I share something? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it.
Okay, so my mom actually just suggested I read this book. It's called The Miracle Morning. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but it's an incredible way of life, like how important it is the way you start your day initially, and just having a very, like that first hour of your day, if you can have like a layout of it, in a very specific schedule and stick to it. I know for the last 2 weeks, just in my career in real estate, really it was affected by the way by the way I chose to commit and to start my morning. So it's just a suggestion for anyone who needs help kind of kickstarting that. The book is amazing.
I love it. I love it. And I have heard that book. I haven't read it myself, but I know a lot of people who have, and they say that it is amazing. And
yes,
right. Yeah, another big thing in this class actually is we do talk about creating the perfect day, and it's very, very important to. And Josh talks about it a lot in his power sessions too. When we're in flow, I'm sure everybody's had that moment where it's just like, gosh, I was in flow today. Like I got everything done. Like it was just boom, 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 boom. And I just, oh, wow, I just felt great. So, I mean, why do we feel that way sometimes? And oftentimes what we notice is we did certain things throughout the day, maybe subconsciously when you were doing it, but they allowed you to have that type of energy throughout the day and get all those things done. And so some of the things that we've noticed in through this class and through Keller Williams and whatnot, is they studied what makes a mega agent or a superstar agent. What creates that? And oftentimes it's consistency, and not just consistency in their lead generation, but in how they form their days. I like to wake up with a workout or a run or something like that. I'm up at like 6 something in the morning, and I like to get that in. If I don't get it in, like today I didn't, I'm a little bit slower. I'm in my t-shirt and my baseball cap. I rolled out of bed this morning and I joined the power session. I had some puffy bags under my eyes when I woke up. It wasn't my perfect day. Tomorrow, however, I have my alarm already set for 6:30 in the morning so I can go on my hike and get that taken care of. So when I'm coming down, I got my endorphins running, I'm ready to rock and roll, and I'm ready to hit it. So these things are all very important. It's not just about being consistent in our lead generation. It's also being consistent in how we treat ourselves, which allows us to be consistent in all other areas in our life. Awesome. Okay. Is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing the one thing that will make you successful? That's a big question.
Who says the one thing? Why is it a one thing? It's many things, I would say, that make you successful, not a single thing.
I would say that you're on point with that. There's a few things that are involved, but what we like to call our one thing in real estate, and we're going to be going over that a little bit, is there is one big thing that creates success in real estate, and that happens to be lead generation. But aside from that, there's the 80-20 rule. So there's 20% of what we do in real estate is what really makes our business. And that's considered our one thing. Now, of course, you're right, Craig. There's a few things underneath that all. But if we look at our one thing as the 20% of what we do in real estate that makes us successful, that's what we need to be focusing on. Now, what could be found under that 20%? Making phone calls, updating our CRM, previewing properties, making sure that we're reaching out to people and talking about our real estate goals. Cindy, could you help remind me what our daily 10-4 is?
I can try.
Help me out. I'm so forgetful. That's why I wanted to ask you.
So am I. Call people.
How many people do we want to call?
As many as you can.
10 people per day minimum. Okay, go on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I'll help you out. So it's 10 contacts per day, 10 handwritten notes to people that we previously contacted, for example. Let's say we had a nice conversation with one of those 10. The next day we write a little handwritten note, put it in the mail. Hey, thank you so much for that conversation. I really enjoyed it. I know I called about real estate, but I really enjoyed our conversation about the Lakers or about how crazy the pandemic is or about fishing, whatever it might be. You know, you just kind of make a little mental note. And if you have any other questions, please feel to reach out. So 10 contacts per day, 10 handwritten notes. By the by, 10 handwritten notes can be emails, it can be a text message, it can be something like that. We want to preview, we want to add 10 contacts into our CRM, which is our, we have Command at Keller Williams, but we want to create a somewhat automated tool that we can continuously keep in contact and touch our clients in an automated fashion. And then the final thing is to preview 10 properties per week. That's the one thing that is not per day in that equation, is to preview 10 properties per week. So we are an expert in our market. Now, if we did our daily 10-4 every single day religiously, that is our 20%. That is our one thing. That is our one thing that we need to be really focused in on in our job as real estate agents. What are some things that are not part of our 20%? Do you think maybe a business card is really important these days?
I think so, yes. It's the cheapest.
No offense, Craig. I happen to disagree with you. And you want to know why?
Why?
What do you usually do when you get a business card from somebody? Do you hold on to it and cherish it and put it in a plaque and remind yourself, I'm going to call that person when I need this? Or does it end up in the trash?
Conversely, I found if I don't have my cards on me in the gym or wherever, people ask me for my card. If I don't have it, I think it looks bad. No?
Maybe. It could. And, you know, that might be your thing. And I think that you should have business cards. But do you think you should put in like 10 hours a day, you know, perfecting it? Like, you know, that movie with Christian Bale where he was like, oh, it's embossed. Like, oh my gosh, look at the white on the, oh my God. You know, who cares? My point is a business card is great. Don't get me wrong, because it does have your contact information. It allows them to contact you back. But my point is aside from, you know, just getting, you know, some pretty standard basic business cards, we don't need to worry about that on a constant basis. Another thing, for example, and by the by, Craig, let's say we're at the gym and you talk to me and you go, hey, Jared, you know, I would like to work with you in real estate. And I go, great, that's awesome. Craig, let me see your phone real quick. And you open your phone up and I put my number in your phone myself. And then I press send and I call myself.
I get that.
You have my number. I also have your number. And it's the onus is now not on you to give me a call. I'm going to follow up with you later. And I'm going to go, hey, Craig, it was really nice meeting you at the gym. By the way, I just wanted to follow up and just make sure you have my number. I saved it under my name. Now you know that this is me. And hey, when did you want to meet up and talk about that? So my point
Sounds right.
Yep.
Right. But Jared,
yeah,
I agree with Craig and I hear you and I agree with what you're saying also. But right now, not everybody wants everybody touching each other's phone. And
or business cards. Or business cards for that matter.
That too. That, and not only that, like I was at the mall not that long and somebody asked I started talking real estate when I was waiting in line to pay. And I said, oh, let me just text you right now. I'll text you my virtual business card. And she said, no, I want your real one, because she didn't want me to call her later. She wanted to call me instead.
Yeah. So she called you?
No, she didn't want me to get her information. She wanted to get my information.
Gotcha. So, I mean, you know, we can use like one-off examples, but my point is in the overall, I think it's going to be better for you to put your info into their phone and to give yourself a call.
I love that.
Flat out, that's what I do every single time. I've never missed a contact when I need it. Occasionally somebody will be like, oh, no. Well, that's going to be that same person who just throws out your business card. You know, if they just want to get your info and then be done with their day, then maybe they're not that serious, and that's okay. This is a numbers game. You know, we're always going to have, you know, making examples from the polar opposite extremes of a spectrum really doesn't give you the honest truth of what the situation is. So yes, on one extreme, you're going to have people who, you know, have no interest in ever calling you, and they're just going to take your business card, put it in your pocket, and throw it out. Or somebody who says, let me get your number and I'll call you. Fine, you're going to get some of those people. But then on the other end of the spectrum, not every single person is going to be like, oh gosh, yes, here's my phone, you know, blah, 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 blah. No, you're not going to have one way or the other way, but you are going to find the bulk of people are going to be right there in the middle. So I strongly urge you to try to do that in lieu of just handing out a business card. It's very passive, in fact. Just giving somebody a business card and hoping that they call you, you know, I think you could be a little bit more proactive, is my point.
I agree.
I agree with that, Jared. I you know, just a quick note, that I typically share my contact information once I spark up a conversation. I just find the perfect opportunity, at least in my mind, as to when to strike up that piece of the information, right? So as I'm talking to them and I see an opportunity to just briefly say, yeah, you know, let's continue this conversation. I'll send you I'll share my contact information with you, and that way you have it. And then I'll save your number as well once I text it to you. And so that seems to be a good segue to pull their number and be able to follow up with them.
Right.
And just as a quick note, I'm not sure if you saw my text, or my message in the chat, but I have to sign off for an inspection appointment. So I downloaded this information. Hopefully I can just review it later. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Listen, we're all working agents, so
yeah,
all good.
Okay.
No worries.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your
Your
time.
time,
Bye-bye.
absolutely.
Good luck in closing.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sure.
And I just realized I did not have this information up on my screen, so I apologize about that, everybody. But now it should be up. So now, Cindy, quick question. Because you and I are younger and on Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, is there another way that we can get their information that's a little bit less invasive from handing a phone over or whatever?
You can ask them their social media.
Boom. I love using Instagram and Facebook as a CRM. I love it. It's so easy. It's so simple. You know, the second you add them into your contacts and Instagram, you're connected. You can see what they're doing in their life. You can comment on their, you know, pictures. Oh, they went off to the beach, you know, this weekend. How was the beach? Did you enjoy it? Oh my gosh, I haven't been to the beach all pandemic. I don't know, whatever, maybe you have. But the point is that there are other ways other than just like, okay, give me your phone number, your email, your address of where you live. And by the by, does your mom have a contact? You know, you don't have to do all of that kind of stuff. And I know that this class sometimes does say to ask for all that info, but it's also okay just to get an Instagram, or it's also okay just to get a Facebook. So we can think of, you know, reasons why it's difficult to get info, but, you know, frankly, we could also look at reasons why we could still get their info. It might not be all of it, but, you know, some info is better than nothing. So keep that in mind. Okay.
You said CRM a couple times. I'm new in the class. Is that chance random meeting? What does CRM mean?
Customer relation management, I think is what it is. But
Okay.
basically it's our CRM, which is, we use Command, but you could also use something called Lion Desk. You could use a Google Doc spreadsheet if you wanted, or an Excel spreadsheet. But basically it's just where you have your client's information and you're able to set up, like, you know, for example, a good CRM these days includes like an email drip campaign. I
Yes.
know people who just use MailChimp as their CRM. They just input contacts into that. And, you know, I don't just use that personally, but whatever it is it's a way for, you could use your cell phone as your CRM if you really wanted to get, you know, basic. But what it really is a place where you can write notes about your clients and stuff. You know, for example, if I'm making cold calls to my CRM, and I talked to Joe Schmo in the Palisades, and he says, "Oh, I've been great. You know, been really busy. My kids are finally back playing sports or something." Because I saw some kids playing sports, for example, the other day with masks on, which I thought was awesome. It gave me like some hope for kids out there because they're really struggling through this. But anyway, for example, you
So you
know,
take a note about that,
yeah.
and then the next call, how are your kids? Are they enjoying ball?
Right, exactly. And
I
it
got you.
allows us
Okay.
to kind of keep up with them and also add them onto email drip campaigns, which are
Yes.
great, you know, passive kind of touches. So let's get into some of the bulk of this. So now you're in business. There's one thing that can propel you forward in your career. What is it? The secret is simple, and it's not a secret at all. It's lead generation. And you're going to learn the skills and do a lot of it in this course. So get used to this winning reality quickly. You are in sales. Yes, sales. Your livelihood, excuse me, is dependent on the number of homes you help others buy or sell. Gary Keller, the co-founder of the company, says you're actually in two businesses in this order: the business of lead generation and the business of real estate. So again, the one thing we really want to focus on and really focus on is lead generation. If you decide to take a day off or something like that, which is fine, try to get some lead generation in, regardless of what form that is. For example, I just need to go on a long hike today and, you know, kind of just shut off from the world or whatever. While I'm going on my hike, I might wave to somebody while I'm hiking. How's your day going? See if I can get into a conversation. You know, if I'm at the beach, I might, you know, overhear somebody talking about real estate, and I might decide to, you know, make a comment. "Oh, are you looking into real estate? You know, I'm an agent. I'd love to help you out." Whatever it might be, whatever we do in our business and our day to day and throughout our lives, if we're in real estate, we need to always have that kind of in the back of our mind and allow us to lead generate. So lead generation is number one in this business. And number two is the business of real estate, which is, you know, the day-to-day managing our escrows, being a bit of a project manager and stuff like that. Mindset and attitude matters. You may think lead generation will be making phone calls that are bothering and annoying to people. We all feel that way, especially when we feel like we're being sold to. However, when you adopt an attitude of contribution, a significant shift in how people respond happens. Change your mindset to focus on being of service. Adopting a mindset and a philosophy of contributing to the lives of other people allows you to be direct and to the point in your interactions with others, with a focus on contribution and being of service. You'll communicate more effectively with customers and win their hearts and minds effortlessly. Energy and enthusiasm and deeply rooted belief in doing the best job possible for each and every customer attracts people to you. Take every opportunity to educate the people in your personal, professional, and social life about what you do and how you can help them. These reminders for people in your network can lead to many referrals for business. Like I was saying to Cindy earlier, you know, listen, if this person's not going to, you know, drink from the well that you're showing them, you know, try to figure a way to help them out some other way. If they're refusing to take your help, you know, that's okay. You can be blunt and you can be direct, but if they still don't want to listen, that's okay. No worries. Let's figure out how we can help you. And, you know, we want to just come from a contribution standpoint. So, all righty. The way I kind of look at it is if you go to the doctor's office, they may tell you, hey, your cholesterol is high, you need to start eating better. They may tell you your blood pressure is, you know, high, you need to start working out more. You don't think they're being a jerk for telling you that. You know, you frankly are like, oh, well, yeah, you're just helping me out. Okay, cool. So in real estate, sometimes we have to tell our clients these uncomfortable conversations. I've been working with clients of mine who I think they were approved to like 820,000 something dollars and some change like that. That was their max. And they kept looking at $850,000 homes, $900,000 homes, hoping that they could, oh, maybe we can like give them a low offer. In this market, are we getting lowball offers? No, we're not. It is a seller's market right now. So big time seller's market. A lot of the homes that are going into contract are going hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking price. So I had to have an uncomfortable conversation with them and explain that to them. And sure enough, we ended up unfortunately putting our search on hold. But I'd rather be honest with them than give them this false sense of hope. And I'm still friendly with them. We have chats all the time. We talked about hikes and stuff and whatever. And occasionally I'll check in with them like, hey, are you ready to start looking again? I saw a couple of homes that came on the market that are right in your price range. You want to take a look? No, we're going to wait until homes go down. Okay, not a problem. Sounds good. For example, I had these clients in Santa Barbara before we got into escrow. The parents referred to me as a used car salesman because I was trying to get them to write $85,000 above asking price. They said that it was because I'm trying to get more commission, and eventually I had to have an honest conversation with them. And I was like, listen, if I'm trying to get more commission, I wouldn't be telling you to write, just $80,000 over or $85,000 over ask price. 2.5% of the purchase price is my commission. If you wrote at asking price versus $85,000 over asking price, that's like a couple $100 to me. Like that means nothing. Like I spend more in gas going back and forth to Santa Barbara than what that's going to equate to. Like that's not the purpose of me asking you to overbid on this house. And sure enough, the house went for $85,000 over asking price. So they learned that really quickly because I had a very honest conversation with them. And then the next house we were writing on, sure enough, we're in escrow right now, and we just removed our contingencies and we're about to close. So the point is, and by the by, they're like, you're the best agent in the world. So we have to have, honest, direct conversations with people, and coming from contribution is really the way that we're able to do that. So good stuff. The 6 personal perspectives. The most successful at business know it takes a certain mindset and attitude to keep at it every day, and especially to excel. Fortunately, Keller Williams Realty has a foundational model for successful mindset, which came into existence when Gary Keller asked the question of hundreds of top agents. What is the difference? What is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish as much? After thoroughly researching this question, Gary discovered that all the high achievers have 3 basic attributes in common: mindset, approach to life, and attitudes. Based on these 3 attributes, the 6 personal perspectives came to be. Okay. Self-mastery is commit to self-mastery. The possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. When you commit to achieving self-mastery, you know your goals, know your strengths and weaknesses, and oftentimes what's more important is knowing your weaknesses and being honest about it. Know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. Through Ignite, you will be acquiring the skills and developing habits to be successful, moving you towards self-mastery. And I touched on this a little bit earlier. Commit to the 80-20 principle. The idea that 20% of your actions leads to 80% of the results, I kind of had it a little bit wrong, may be one of the most powerful principles you can apply to your life. It's about getting the most from your time and effort. It's about maximizing your results. It's about having focus. At Ignite, we identify your 20% for you, your money-making activity, lead generation. Literally, focus on lead generation. Every single person in my last class has gotten clients throughout the course of Ignite. And while that may vary from person to person, some people are just, like Cindy, for example, she's a little bit frustrated because she's been working with these clients and they're not really moving the ball, forward. But I'll tell you, to be completely honest with you, my first year in real estate, when I first got in real estate, I wasn't doing any of this. And it took me over a year to really get a bona fide client, because I was just kind of sitting back and, you know, waiting for business to come to me. I had this idea that the second I opened doors for Jared Marcus Realty, people were just going to be like, oh my gosh, Jared, I want to sell my house with you. And that's not the case. We have to be proactive. We have to reach out to people. We need to make those lead generation calls.
So I actually have a question in regards to lead generation.
Yeah.
Obviously, from someone who is not from Los Angeles, I've been here roughly about 2 years, especially being in a pandemic. What do you recommend to really excel in lead generation if it's not a friend or family member? Because obviously I'm limited in that department, being that I'm still kind of new here to Los Angeles.
Sure. So what I've been doing is I try to get into as many Zoom calls as possible. I love Zoom. My girlfriend and I, we had a Zoom scavenger hunt with a lot of her friends. And there was like a group of like 10 people that I don't know any of them. And it was basically a scavenger hunt. And somebody came up with a list of, you know, random items that you might have around the house. So we're all like sitting around like the screen, and they go, all right, now find AA batteries or batteries. And everybody got up and ran around the house looking for batteries and stuff. I mean, that's one like little example. But in that process, they actually asked, find a copy of your lease or purchase or grant deed or whatever. And everybody got up, and this one guy brought an addendum to his lease. And I said, excuse me, I'm a licensed realtor, and that is not a full lease agreement. That cannot be counted, and blah, 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 blah. And we all had a big laugh about that. And sure enough, somebody said, so Jared, you're in real estate? We're actually looking to buy. And I had a nice little conversation with them. I said, hey, listen, you know, add me on Instagram, or I'll add you, and we'll talk later after the thing. Yeah. So my point is, another thing that we did, there's a video game called Among Us on your phone, which is a really dorky video game, but
amazing video game.
Thank you. I agree. It's pretty awesome. But this is Among Us, and we have Zoom Among Us tournaments, and we all play Among Us, and we set up a private room for us, and we get in, and basically Among Us is one person is an imposter who goes around trying to kill people, and everybody else is doing all these like little tasks and duties, and you're this little tiny, you know, thingy guy and whatever. So I'm not going to play a game right now, but my point is, though, is you can do a lot of different activities and find, you know, things to sign up for Zoom. There's, for example, networking events, virtual networking events on Zoom. I highly recommend, you know, engaging in that. Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce has networking events almost weekly. So the point is it's not going to be the same as, frankly, you know, having face-to-face interactions with people and doing a face-to-face interaction networking. But, you know, in light of, you know, the current events, it's a pretty good option. Now, depending on your comfort level, Morgan, and again, you know, it really just depends on all of our personal comfort levels. Mm-hmm. I like going out to restaurants that I know are set up in a fashion where I can easily have a conversation with the person sitting next to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people don't feel comfortable going out yet, even if it's outdoors and whatever. I happen to feel comfortable enough. I'm of an age where, you know, if I happen to get the coronavirus, knock on wood, it wouldn't be life-threatening. I don't have any underlying health issues. In fact, when this whole pandemic happened, I went to my doctor just to confirm that, you know, and so I feel fairly comfortable. Sure. Yeah. And I feel fairly comfortable, you know, reaching out to people and just being like, hey, how's your day going? Blah, 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 blah. So I do get out as much as possible. And also, you know, something that my girlfriend told me, I was like lamenting over how I can't door knock anymore. Like, it sucks. Like, you know, we're technically not supposed to door knock because it's not a necessary activity. And frankly, I'd hate to find out that I accidentally gave some 80-year-old lady coronavirus because I was knocking on her door trying to sell her house.
Right.
So I was lamenting over that. I was like, oh my gosh, like that was like a huge source of my lead generation. Like, what the F, you know? And she was like, well, why don't you create a TikTok? Why don't you create get a little bit more active on your Instagram. When I get off of this, I'm going to make a video about showing a house on Beverly Glen. It was a condo. It was actually the condominium that I grew up in, which was very trippy, mind you, because I don't live there anymore. But I was showing properties in my old condo, and I want to make a fun little video about that, talking about, showing a property in my old building.
Yeah.
And so my point is, yes, I agree, it's a little bit difficult, especially, being only 2 years in Los Angeles, but that's all the more reasons to get out there, be proactive, get to know people. If you're dating somebody, try to ask to be involved in their friend get-togethers or whatever. Just do what you can. And for the people that you do know in LA, maybe recommend doing a virtual game night.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that'd be
have
really
to.
cool. I
Yeah,
think location too as well. So I'm in West Hollywood. Actually, I'm like walking distance to Melrose. So I think that, utilizing your location as well, and like you said, kind of getting out, probably makes a huge difference. So
yeah, and it's weird. Don't get me wrong. You have to be very gauging. What's everybody's comfort level. I always err on the side of putting a mask on when I'm trying to talk to people or whatever. But you'd be surprised at how many people are open to having interaction, especially during the pandemic, because they need interaction. Frankly, they're like, oh my gosh, talk to me, please. Like, I haven't talked to somebody in so long. Like, so it's interesting.
perfect. Well, thank you.
Absolutely, 100%. And so that's what I recommend. And for people who are single, use online dating. I'll just say that, because I've got a lot of leads doing that. I have right on my old online dating profile, it said, love to go on a date or sell you a house, realtor at Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. And people thought it was hilarious. And I actually did show quite a few properties doing that. So that's another way that you could lead generate during a pandemic. Anyway, so move from E to P, going down into it. So we just covered your 20% rule. So we want to make sure we're focused on lead generation. Everything that we do is lead generation focused. Let's talk from E to P. High achievers are always looking for a purposeful way. By doing this, they break through the ceiling of their natural behavior. You can attain certain level of success utilizing your natural abilities, but expect to hit a ceiling at some point. Wouldn't you like to achieve even greater success and break through that ceiling? How about living a larger life or attaining your goals? Ignite is not only designed to help start your business, it is designed to help you grow your business. Ignite will help you move from entrepreneurial to purposeful with skill mastery. So, for example, what do they mean by natural ability? What do they mean by that?
Someone who has a natural ability
Sure.
means, from what I understand, someone who is comfortable with
Sure.
their ability. It almost becomes like second nature to them, I think. Like,
Yeah.
Talkative or social.
I have what's called the gift of the gab. I'm able to talk for hours and hours and hours, and usually I'm very rarely at a loss of what to say. But I do this Ignite class because it allows me to kind of perfect that skill a little bit. I like teaching people. Whenever I'm talking to my clients, I'm able to think back on the classes that I taught at Ignite and help to teach them how to be a little bit more successful in finding a home, how to, sell your house in a more, profitable way, like through staging, the types of marketing that we do. It helps me, frankly. But for example, for example, let's use a sports analogy. I think everybody likes to do this whenever we're talking about this, but LeBron James, he was a really great basketball player. Frankly, he's tall, he's very athletic. Even when he was in high school, that's great. But one thing that he said to one of his coaches at a young age is that he wants to be the best basketball player ever. And, people can, go back and forth whether you think he is or isn't. But in his journey to becoming that, he had some real honest, questions asked. And, he looked in the mirror and he said, they ask you, well, okay, if you want to be the best basketball player ever, what would you have to work on? And a couple of things that he said was his 3-point shot, being able to pass the ball more effectively. And by learning these things, his weaknesses, he was able to work on those. And to see a guy at his height, there's not that many people. I don't know how tall he is, but he's not just 6 foot. And he's like a power forward basically, but he's pretty much like a point guard power forward. I mean, Magic Johnson is a great example of that kind of, ability. And to learn how to shoot the 3-point shot, plus be able to post up, plus be able to pass, he's a triple threat. I mean, he's all over the place. He's a well-rounded player. And so instead of just saying, I'm good enough, I'm getting into the pros, he worked on all of those things religiously to be able to build a set of skills that created, mastery of basketball. So in real estate, for example, you might be able to talk really, really well. You might be able to interact with people on a super high level and be very personable. But maybe you need to work on, your CRM. Maybe you need to work on, for example, how many times I know I've done this a lot, where I'm talking to somebody who wants to buy, but they want to buy like 6 months to a year from now. And all of a sudden 6 months to a year comes by and I'm busy, I'm doing other stuff. I'm working with this other buyer now and I'm hyper focused on them. And all of a sudden I see them post on their Instagram, just bought a house, yay. And I'm like, what the, I thought you were going to buy. Why didn't you buy from me? I didn't follow up with them. So through this, instead of just being entrepreneurial and have the gift of the gab and talking to a bunch of people, maybe we might need to learn how to do follow-ups better, how to utilize our CRM more effectively so we don't forget to lead generate follow-up with these people. For example, again, a CRM is really, really powerful because you can set a note and a reminder that tells you 6 months from now, or maybe 4 months from now, because frankly, maybe we need to have the conversation a little bit before 6 months, to follow up with them and revisit that conversation. Now I can tell you, I don't miss those opportunities. And, my numbers are thanking me for it. So all good stuff to think about. Okay, step 4, make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. A learning-based individual is an individual who has made the decision to use effective learning as the foundation piece for their action plan to develop their life. Big time. Training and education are a big part of moving forward to attain your goals and succeed at a high level. Learning-based individuals commit to the process of acquiring skill-based habits. Ignite is just the start for you as a learning-based individual. Keller Williams Realty offers many learning, opportunities for you. So, for example, how many agents who started in the 80s, let's say, they started in the 1980s, let's say they are, 50 to 60 years old and they're still in the business. How many of those agents do you think fully learned how to use a CRM or online marketing or social media, or the list can go on, frankly? How many of them do you think really mastered that?
5%.
Maybe 5%. And those are the ones who are freaking killing it, just knocking it out of the park. Joyce Ray, she might not personally, learn all of that kind of stuff, but I know she has people on her team who are experts at it. And she's still one of the top producing agents in the country. So, of course, as we grow, we can delegate these things out, of course. But the point is they're not lost in the idea that they need to continue the learning process. The people who excel at a high level never stop learning. They know that their industry is evolving. They know that their industry is changing. Back to the basketball point. Back in the 80s, 90s, there wasn't a single person close to 7 foot tall who could shoot a 3-point shot. Now it's fairly common to have centers who can actually shoot the 3-pointer. So, these are things that just continually evolve just in any career or sport for that matter. And people realize, hey, you know what? Instead of being this big, powerful, big guy like Shaquille O'Neal, I need to be leaner. I need to be faster. I need to be more agile and to be able to also shoot the 3-point shot if needed. So in our business, things are always going to evolve and we need to stay on top of that and know that this is a constant learning process. Okay, step 5, remove your limiting beliefs. High achievers remove beliefs that from their thinking that hold them back. In order to successfully develop at a higher level, you will need to clear your mind of limiting beliefs first. For example, are there any of these thoughts in your head right now? I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. Has anybody thought that? It's okay to think so, because I sure did when I first started real estate.
Of course.
Totally, 100%. I don't think I can achieve a profit goal that will fund my life this year. Gosh, I think about that all the time. And frankly, what I love about this class is that eventually teaches us how to do the mathematical equation to figure out how many homes do I need to sell, then broken down to how many conversations do I need to have to be able to get into contracts. And it really goes into how many contacts do I need to make per year to reach these financial goals. We can do this mathematically because on average, I know that out of every 100 people I talk to about real estate, I'll enter one contract. That is a mathematical probability that I have already calculated out, and it's true. How many 100 contacts do I have to, how many calls do I have to make to get 100 contacts? For me, it's about 1,000. I know that number, like boom, I just know it. And the truth of the matter is, it might be less, it might be more for you. But these are numbers that I'm fully aware of. And I can achieve those numbers if I put in the hard work, as long as I keep myself accountable. Okay, because I'm in business, the business will come to me naturally. I don't need to devote 3 hours each day to lead generation. Ooh, I know that one. I've done that. So big time. These are all limiting beliefs. Again, I think I said it earlier in the class. When I first started real estate, I had all these friends. I grew up in LA. I was like, oh, I'm 100% going to get all their business. I was wrong. There was more. I frankly, it took me 2.5 years to work with my sphere, my friends, family, relatives, etc. And I think there's a reason for that, frankly. I think that sometimes our friends and family want to vet us before they work with us. They want to see that we're able to do real estate before they agree to work with us. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So, for example, Morgan, you were saying that you're newer to Los Angeles. I actually think that's an advantage.
Do you?
I absolutely do, 100%.
Also, you have a really nice accent. Like, that's awesome.
Thank you. It was way thicker when I first moved here, but
well, keep it up. Keep practicing. Don't lose your accent.
And I always say people with accents do more business than people who don't. So
I was very surprised to see how it was taken when I first moved here. I thought, they'd say, oh my gosh, go back to the cornfield or like whatever kind of thought they had in there. I'm actually from Alabama. But no, it's been very well received. And I think there's also like some qualities just as far as, the hospitality, which I think, can benefit your business and just some other qualities that, maybe having a little more patience or, those are the things I don't want to lose because I feel like, for me personally, I want to apply those into my personal relationships as well as my business. So
100%. And, I was in Dallas and I understand that they say Dallas is where the South ends and the West begins. But, besides that, I was walking around, I was looking for a bar. Don't worry about it. I was there for pleasure, not business. Okay. And I was walking around and this young kid, he was on a skateboard, smoking a cigarette. And I'm thinking of like kids in LA, he's just going to be a jerk and, tell me to go, flip off. And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to look for this. He's like, oh, no problem. Let me walk with you over there and I'll show you where it is. I was like, what?
Yeah, what? It's a different world.
It's a different world. So don't lose it. Cause I loved it. It was awesome. And it reminded me of that. I love this. I go to Texas, which I know is different from Alabama, but I go to Texas a lot.
Yeah, there's some great parts about it. So as long as I can learn to kind of convert that to doing, business out here in a successful way, then I'll be good with it. So it'll be a learning curve, but I'm excited.
100%. Go get it. All righty. So activity, turn limiting beliefs into unlimiting beliefs. How would you redirect these negative thoughts into positive ones, into unlimiting beliefs and fuel your success? So how would you take I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. How would you change that? What are some things you can utilize being a part of a very, very high production brokerage such as Keller Williams Beverly Hills, or some people might be from the Newport office, but how would you change that limiting belief? Well, one thing I would say is what was it before? There was something that was I forgot. I'm gonna butcher this, but the act of not doing something, the what's the word I'm looking for? The end result of not acting is much worse than actively pursuing it. So for example, if you just think that, oh, I can't do it, and never make any action, you're never going to get any opportunity to finally close on something or to grow. So that's one. But the other thing is being a part of a big brokerage like Keller Williams, Beverly Hills, or Newport Beach, or Hollywood, or whichever office you're in, is that you have a lot of experience right in your own office. You could reach out to me. You could reach out to the education director, which I believe is Kristen Tull. You could reach out to Justin Jacobs. You could reach out to Josh. Who could point you in the right direction to work with, one person or another. I can't tell you how many times I have commercial requests, and I don't specialize in commercial, but I know that I could call Austin Chen to point me to the right commercial agent to work with. The point is that even if you don't know the answer right now, it's always okay to just say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that right now, but let me get back to you a little bit later on today. Is that all right? And believe me, people appreciate that. So you don't need to be a top producing agent necessarily to do well in this business. In fact, every single time I've gone up against a top producing agent, and I mean top producing agent, like I'm not going to say his name, but this one agent in Malibu who does like over $1 billion, I think, by himself, a year. I both listings that he was up against, I stole the client. So the point is you don't have to be this crazy top producing agent. In fact, sometimes it helps not to be. Some of these kids who come into some of these young adults who come into our business, who are like, just out of college, or maybe didn't even go to college, they have zero limiting belief. The stresses of life have not hit them in the face yet. So they're just going after it. And believe me, they're some of the top producing agents in the city right now. We have a few people in our office for that matter. So I don't think I can achieve a profit goal that will fund my life this year. How could we change that limiting belief? I think I gave a little bit of info about what I've done to figure out how many things I need to make. You want to quantify it. You want to figure out, well, how much business do I have to do to reach that goal? And the second we break our numbers down and we realize what that is that we need to do and what we need to achieve, it all of a sudden becomes tangible. So if I need to make, X amount of calls to get X amount of clients, well, I'm not going to do that all in one day, but if I break it out, day by day throughout the year, we have 365 days a year. If I do 100 calls a day, let's see, which you can do very, very easily if you have a Mojo dialer, times 365. That's 36,000 calls in 1 year. So if I did that day by day, that's 100 calls a day, which is about 2 or 3 hours on the phone. I could very, very well hit that number. Divided by, let's see. Yeah, so I mean that would be 365 sales, frankly, if I was actually doing those numbers. So clearly, I need to step it up. But the point is you can quantify that, and you could very, very easily do that. In this city, you can make a phenomenal living just by selling 10 houses a year. I mean, really, and I mean that. Does anybody know what the average sales price of a house is in Santa Monica right now? Closer to 2 million. So, I mean, think about that, 10 of those, you're living a good life. So think about it that way. Anyway, because I'm in the business will come to me naturally. I don't need to devote 3 hours a day to lead generation. how could we change our mindset for that? All right, I'm going to start calling on people. Batya, how can
Well,
we?
I do want to say that on one of the calls last week or the week before, it was like one of the power sessions, and you actually you were speaking and you were saying, you know, if you're a new agent and you're just like petrified to pick up the phone, you're like, I can't start yet. I need to wait for this to happen and this to happen. That's probably one of the things you really need to like start with. And when we got off the call, I called someone who's actually now, I'm working on receiving a pretty nice lead from them. And it was just like exactly what you said, you know, and you have to just stop putting those beliefs onto yourself.
100%.
And change it with action, I feel like.
100%. And, you know, some of us, for example, and that's a great point, Batu. Thank you for mentioning that. And it's the truth. You know, whatever you feel the most uncomfortable doing is likely the thing that you should be doing. Because frankly, we only grow when we are in some level or degree of uncomfortableness, if that's a word. You know, we only, so if you're going to the gym, you're not going to build any muscle by lifting styrofoam weights. You know what I mean? You have to increase the weight up gradually. Of course, I can't walk into a gym and start lifting 100-pound dumbbells, but you know, I can start with the 20s, move up to the 35s, move up to maybe the 40s. And eventually I probably could do that. Now, I don't want to get that buff, but you know, my point is we can all do certain things that make us a little bit uncomfortable and just continually do that, you know, day by day until eventually that thing that was uncomfortable now is just second nature. It's fun. In fact, I do certain things when I cold call that might sound weird or look weird. I like to doodle. I just like make little drawings and stuff like on the side, and it just clears my mind. It's like a mind clearer for me, and that way I'm able to have the conversations a little bit more smoothly. I'm not focusing like, oh my God, I don't know this person. I'm going like, okay, hey, this is Jared Medlinski with Keller Williams Beverly Hills. How are you today? Okay, cool. I'm drawing. Yeah, you know, listen, I was calling because I just wanted to ask if you or anybody you know in the neighborhood is interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate. No. Okay, well, I just want to let you know, I sold the house 2 doors down from you. You live at blah, 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 blah street. Okay, great. Yeah. So we sold that house in under a week. We had over 11 offers. And, you know, we ended up selling $45,000 above our asking price. So you sure you don't know anybody who's interested in buying or selling? Oh, well, actually, then I can stop doodling. And I'm like, actually what? Do you want to sell? And then we kind of get into a convo. I don't talk like that, but the point is like, you know, just get into a flow of things, and eventually those things become very comfortable. All righty, good stuff. Okay, accountability is first and foremost an attitude and an approach to your entire life. An accountable person says, everything in my life is a result of my choices and actions. I own my life. So, you know, I don't like hearing, and, you know, this might come off a little bit harsh, but, you know, every single time where we go, this isn't working. Well, how are we going to fix it? You know, don't be a victim. Don't just say life is just happening to me. And, you know, listen, sometimes there are going to be unfortunate circumstances where life is a little bit tougher, but guess what? Life is not fair. We are going to have to learn how to cope with these things and continue with our business while dealing with uncomfortable realities of life. And oftentimes, when something uncomfortable happens or unfortunate happens, there is a way to make it better. There is a way to figure out what that is. And it might not be a very clear, no worries, Batya, have a great one. There is, so for example, I'm working with a client who unfortunately keeps looking at prices that are way out of their price range. And it's just so frustrating. And, you know, they're taking up all my time, and, oh my gosh, this is annoying. What can I do with that? I could lead generate more and find a client who's a little bit more realistic. Now, it's not the obvious solution, but in my experience, you know, rather than wasting time on somebody who's just wasting my time, frankly, I'm going to start focusing my efforts elsewhere. I'm not going to completely abandon this person, but my driving fact, what I would normally do for somebody might start to trickle down on that person. They're going to be moving to the C list. They're not my A client, they're my C client. There's somebody in the future. Stuff like that. Let's see, what else is another example? I don't know, stuff like that. Anyway, accountability is a tool for continually changing results in your life in those areas that matter most, your 20%. A person who is accountable and their 20% says, I own my life, and in certain areas, I want to continually improve my results. I will be purposeful and I will be learning based to continue improving. Ignite will provide you with tools to develop and cultivate your accountability to be successful. For further study, if you haven't already, view the 6 personal perspectives video on kwconnect.com or ask your team leader for when a class will be taught. Awesome. Getting the most out of this experience. All righty, this is for newer agents. Just so you know, we've already determined certain types of students, and this is how they go. You have begun your exciting journey towards sparking your business and attaining your dreams. You are not simply a student or a learner in Ignite. You are a capper in training. Prepared to do what it takes to be successful in your real estate career. What kind of capper in training will you be in Ignite? The prisoner. Okay, let me have some people read this. Can everybody see my screen? Not all at once.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Morgan. Okay, let me ask. Hey, on.
Hi, sorry, I can't see your screen yet. Hold on.
Oh no. Here, how about now?
One sec. The screen disappeared for some reason after I clicked on the link.
Oh, darn. Well, no worries. While you figure it out,
I'll figure it out.
Lisa. Rolofson. Lisa Rolofson? All right, Lady Gomez. Amber.
Hello.
There she is. Awesome. You are not this person, but could you read The Prisoner and read all the way down to the bottom? It's just the column.
Yeah, the prisoner has to be there, doesn't want to be there, and doesn't know why they're there. Doesn't engage, spends class time catching up on their emails, escapes by spending time in the hall on their phone, holds on to limiting beliefs, multitasks on their computer by working on side projects, or picks fights with trainer or other participants if they don't agree.
That's so you, Amber. Gosh.
You know, I'm all about that.
Very good. Awesome. So, right. So part of this is, I get it. Part of being a new agent at Keller Williams, you have to do the Ignite classes. And believe me, when I was first an agent, I was like, I don't want to do this. And I'm gonna be honest, that I was a little bit of the prisoner, just a little bit. And now I teach the class. So go figure. But the point is I teach the class because I really did find these very, very helpful in my career. The moment I decided I had a little mind shift change, and I said, you know what, I'm going to commit to this and I'm going to really go all in. I was able to, just this, like during the winter, during a pandemic, I closed like 4 transactions in 1 month. So, I mean, my point is what do I contribute to that? It's these classes. It's realizing what I need to do every single day to stay on top of my business. Awesome. So the vacationer. Hey, on, were you able to get the screen up?
Yep, I got it. Sorry
Awesome.
about that.
No worries.
Okay, the vacationer. A day in training is better than a day on the job. Spends as much time chatting as listening. There to have fun, distracts the class with irrelevant comments, returns late from break and lunch, not purposeful in their learning goals. Oh my God, spends the day on their smartphone, texting and checking Facebook, isn't paying attention.
Perfect. Again, I was the prisoner and the vacationer, frankly, when I first started. Yeah, again, this class is really here to build the tools that you'll need to create a very, very, very successful real estate career. I will promise you, the top producing agents, no matter what brokerage they're in, whether it's Hilton and Highland or Keller Williams or Rodeo Realty or Coldwell Banker, the top producing agents are doing everything that we learn in this class, and they do it on a daily basis. It's really, the beauty of real estate is it's a very replicatable process to becoming successful in real estate. And if you do replicate it to the T, you will find great success. And eventually you'll find your niches, and you'll be able to tailor these tools to whatever really drives your business forward. So then finally, the explorer. I'll read that one. The explorer is excited and curious about the new knowledge, skills, and tools they will discover in class. Listens attentively, then participates fully in discussions and exercises, asks meaningful questions, and contributes to compelling ahas. Arrives to class on time and returns promptly from breaks. Adopts a posture of acceptance. Takes notice in their manual for future reference. Takes notes, not notice. Respects the different learning styles and opinions of others. And we are all going to be the explorers. I know it. It's like Dora the Explorer, my favorite Nickelodeon cartoon when I was little. No, I'm kidding. So obviously we want to be explorers as much as possible. And honestly, the more everybody contributes, the better this class is, in my opinion. So if you ever have a question or a comment, I want you to interrupt me. I value it a lot. So please continue to do that. Okay, so every single day we're going to go over our action reveal and basically our mission, and I'll give you a hint. It mainly talks about lead generation. And it also goes into a lot of other stuff. It tells you what to watch, what to read, stuff like that. But we'll be doing that in this class as it is. So, okay, 2 expectations for this power session. We want to find out what your big why is. Why are you getting into real estate? What has moved you from whatever career you were doing before or prior to real estate? We want to set your monetary goals. We want to know how much money do you want to make this year and why? Be accountable to your big why and monetary goal. Use influencing sales language for 3 business calls today. We won't be doing that because it'll be a shitstorm of people talking over each other if we all do it at the same time. But we will talk about how to make those business calls. Okay. Ground rules through Ignite. We're all adults. We got it. No worries. Make it happen. Your 4 skills. Okay, so a couple questions. What is your job? Big job is lead generation. Let's make sure we're doing that. All right, who is your customer? What is your product? Now, these questions are going to be a little bit different for everybody. You might specialize in, oops, I don't want that. You might specialize in divorce sales. You might specialize in bankruptcies and probate courts. You might specialize with first-time buyers. But we want to identify who those people are and what is your product. I have to look that up actually. I don't know what a product is. But what is your product? It's houses. That's what we're selling. Today you'll learn 4 new skills essential to gaining a strong customer base and having success in real estate sales. Skill number 1, know your big why and monetary goal. Skill number 2, commit to a daily lead generation. Skill number 3, use influencing sales language. And number 4, be accountable to your big why and monetary goal. Okay, skill number 1. What we want to know what your big why is. What do we mean by that? Typically, it's not, oh man, I really like these like Nike Jordans. I just want to get these new shoes, and oh man, the new iPhone's coming out in like September or something. I want to save up for that. No, it's not really just something monetary always, but what stirs your soul? Why are you in business? What do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? These answers to these questions are a basis for your big why, and to fuel that big why will take money and an income goal. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. Your big why. Passions for your big why. Anyone can achieve the goals set in this course, but not everyone will. The journey requires discipline and commitment to follow models, systems, and schedule every day. It requires passion towards something bigger than the task at hand, your big why. First, have a big why built around your passions, then follow models you'll learn in this course and keep doing it, and you will achieve your grand success. So getting into this, what I want to figure out from everybody, and this is a time for everybody to chime in, what is your big why? Why do you want to be in real estate? What's behind it?
I think for me, Maddie, sorry, that's my dog. I
Okay.
think for me, it's just like just the limitless opportunity, especially here in Los Angeles in the market and the history behind the city and just all the opportunities in itself in comparison to like obviously being from a smaller town in a smaller state where, you know, the average home is 150 grand. So I think just especially here, I think, you know, the sky's the limit. And it's also just something really cool to do for someone else, help your client, you know, achieve their goal while you're essentially achieving yours. So
Sure. Now, if you were able to achieve your financial goals, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this, because I think that's a great start with your big why. But what would you want to achieve? Let's say you made $1 million this year. What would you do with that money besides buy some stuff? What would you do?
you could invest.
You could invest, but could you change certain aspects in your life? Maybe passions that you have in your life would it give you more time to do certain things, spend time with people that you care about.
Sure.
So before we get into our, you know, everybody's big why, and now I have a very lofty one, but a little bit of sharing time. So, you know, before I was even born, this was already taken care of, but I was adopted. And, you know, I was so, I can't unmute myself. I have to figure this out. No worries, lady. All good. So when we're getting into our big why, I've thought about this, by the by, for over a year, well over a year, because I did this, you know, I don't know, 3 years ago, I think, or something, when I took my first Ignite. I don't know. I forget how long I've been with the company. But anyway, my big why, I decided, because I was adopted by an amazing family. My mom and my dad, they were, you know, financially, you know, doing okay. My dad was a director. He did plays and TV show. He did a lot of Broadway stuff. Um, I was so lucky. I mean, you know, honestly, I was loved, and, you know, my family just really cared about me, and they really, you know, showed that 24/7. And frankly, I didn't know anything else besides being adopted, because before I was even born, the paperwork was already done. Now, is that the case for everybody in the world? No. And I realized that I hit the lottery, literally. And my big why is, one day I'd like to create an organization. And by the by, another thing that I love to do, and because my parents, you know, were able to raise me in a certain fashion, I was able to find out that I love nature. I love going out and backpacking and hiking and camping and all this fun stuff. I have a kayak that I take out with me into the ocean. I go ocean kayak fishing. I try to catch thresher sharks, which sounds crazy, but it's pretty fun to catch a shark when you're on a small little kayak. Go figure. You know, I'm able to find out that I love all these certain things in life. I can go river kayaking down the Grand Canyon. You know, I built a life that I love for myself. And I wanted to think, how can I give back? You know, not every kid who goes through the adoption process has this great story of being, you know, with a great family or something like that. Sometimes kids have to go to the foster system. Sometimes kids who are not just adopted are just you know, in underprivileged, you know, kind of situations. They don't have the opportunity to, you know, take a bus all the way down to the ocean and see and go, you know, exploring tide pools and looking for like little tiny critters and whatnot. They don't have the opportunity to go out to the high Sierras or go to see Yosemite Valley and stuff like that. So my big why personally is, one, the ability to create some form of like a foundation where I can, you know, have inner city youth experience the amazing things that I had an opportunity to experience at a young age, to show that, you know, there's much more than just, you know, what they're accustomed to. And then also, you know, frankly, my mom, you know, as great of a life that I had, in high school and college, my mom's hit some financial, hardships. And, now I'm in a position where I like to take care of my mom. So my big why is taking care of my family, and also the ability to one day hopefully create a foundation or something that I can give back to young kids who are either in the foster system, growing up in a situation, where they are in an underprivileged, household or community, and to be able to give back in a way that I was so privileged to be able to get myself. So when I'm talking a big why, that's what I mean. I want to hear, wow, if I made all this money, I can finally do the things that I'm either so privileged to get, or I'm able to help the people that I, so greatly care about. I'm able to create time and a life for myself that I'm able to enjoy. My big why originally when I first started this business was I want to be able to go camping and hiking and kayaking more. I achieved that. So eventually that big why changed into something different. So it doesn't have to be super high in the sky like mine is, but think about those things, everybody, when we're talking about our big why. I don't know. Let me. Does anybody else have a big why that they'd like to share?
I do. Hi, Jared. It's Anna Marie. My big why since I was a little girl has always been to, and you touched on this, help foster children. I don't know why, but I think the movie Annie when I was a kid really touched me. And since then, I've always been like, I need to help kids. I need to help foster children. Or orphans. And my other big why goes hand in hand with that, and that's animals, dogs. So I thought about, and this has always been my dream, and it's changed a little bit over time, but I haven't been able to really get to it yet. So I really want financial freedom to be able to provide that for children, and then have them be able to have their own foster dog. So it would be like, like putting those two together has like been my dream. So that's something that I really want to be able to have the means to be able to do. So
I love it. I love that. That's awesome. Good stuff. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, our big why, and the reason why I went through the big story about this and whatnot, about my, my big why, is I found that when it's just a monetary thing or a superficial thing, now it can be for somebody, don't get me wrong, but driving a Ferrari or a sports car is not going to motivate you very long. Eventually you'll get there, and once you have it, what else is there? So that's what I want to ask everybody, to try to dig deep, dig real deep, something that big why can continue for a lifetime, frankly. So yeah, good stuff. Anybody else have anything that they want to share? Big whys? Don't be scared.
I actually I'm so much of a helper, and I already do help everyone I love to the extent of my abilities, but I would love to be in a better position to just be able to do anything, and on top of that, my husband works in the studios, and obviously through COVID that slowed down and he kind of took a step back, and I like the idea of being in a position to kind of let him explore and see if there's anything else that he wants to do that he'd rather do, because I've had every opportunity under the sun to kind of figure out, try this, try that, because he works, he takes care of me. So I kind of like to give him that chance to kind of explore a little bit and not have to stress so much about working all the time.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so sweet. And honestly, like that's what I'm talking about for big whys. Yes, there's going to be a monetary cost to a lot of these things, but it's not the money that we're going after. It's the tool that it allows us to do these things, to take care of people that we love, to be there in the same fashion that they were there for us. And I love all that. That's all amazing. Good stuff. Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. That is awesome. And don't worry, if you don't have a big why yet, don't worry, you will. You'll figure it out. And if it is, a Ferrari for right now, that's okay too. If it is a nice purse, that's okay too. If it's a nice, whatever, that's okay too. But just keep in mind though, that eventually you will get there and you're going to need something else to, keep pushing you forward. So awesome stuff. Okay. So big future, write down the date, 12 months from now. Now imagine this date is today. Your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You are building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationship and experience and the income you desire. You are a top agent in your market center or rookie of the year if you're new. You're now poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business. You are on a path to building a career worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living. Very good stuff. Okay, so some of these big things helping you to find out what your big why is. What is your driving motivation, the why or goal in your career in real estate? Now feel free to chime in and say something or just write it down for yourself. What will achieving your goal mean for you? What will it mean to be able to do certain things once you achieve these goals? In what ways will your life change? Really think about that. In what ways will your life change if all of a sudden you are able to reach your financial goals? What doors will open for you? Are there, other things that you might be able to do now that you're now a little bit more successful? Think about these things when you're trying to determine what your big why is. From your answers on the previous page, write one statement that summarizes your big why. And I'm actually going to take a little second for everybody to think about this. Hopefully you actually are doing this. There's no way to really for me to check on this, but hopefully you are actually really writing this down, thinking about it. And what we want you to do is take a picture of it. And then using your camera on your phone, once you take that picture of your big why, we recommend making it the new background of your screen. So you will see it and be reminded of it every time you use your phone. And I mean this. And if it's not on your screen, put it up on your wall somewhere so it's like in a very visible place. These reasons are going to be the things that drive us to do the uncomfortable things that are necessary to build a career and to build a life worth living, per Gary Keller. Write your answers to these questions. What could get in the way of achieving your big why? So instead of writing this down, I'm going to ask everybody, what are some things that could get in the way of achieving our big why?
Striving for perfection and never attempting to settle for anything because it's not perfect.
I love that. Who said that? I didn't see who said that.
Matthew,
that is spot on. Striving for perfection sometimes is a recipe for doing nothing. You're just spinning the wheels and you're not really getting anything accomplished. I know, I'm gonna shut this window because I'm getting a glare right in my eye. There we go, that's a little bit better. Yeah, so striving for perfection sometimes, I remember I was thinking of like, what's the best door knocking script? And, frankly, I spent a week doing nothing. Didn't even knock on a single door. And just kept, what do I say with this? What do I say with that? And eventually I just said, screw it. I'm just going to take whatever I have right now. I'm just going to get out there and do it. And it was horrible. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous. I was like practically reading the script as if it was like right in front of me. I had it memorized, but, I think it was something like, "Hi, my name's Jared. I'm with Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. Are you interested in selling your house?" It was something really it wasn't very good. I'm going to be honest. And then I asked myself, like, dude, you spent all this time trying to think of the script, trying to like think of like the right thing to say. What if you just threw the script out the window and just knocked on doors and just introduce yourself? What's more natural? And all of a sudden I just realized, door knocking is not so much of having a canned script, but it's having a conversation with your neighbor. Maybe I don't live in that neighborhood, but it's the same thing. And so eventually it went from, this very canned whatchamacallit to, hi, my name is Jared Medlinski. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a local real estate agent. I just got my license, a couple months ago, and I wanted to take this time to introduce myself formally to you. And, I'm Jared. Hi, your name is? Cool. Awesome. Nice to meet you. Listen, if you have any real estate needs, I'd really love to be a resource to you. Here's my card and here's my information. I actually grew up in this neighborhood since I was a little kid. And that's why I wanted to introduce myself and, formally introduce myself to you. And if I've already met you again, reintroduce myself to you professionally. And, all of a sudden, what was this canned, weird, awkward conversation with people turned into just a convo. And people were thankful for it. Everybody took my card. Everybody was like, oh, that's so nice. And da 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 da. And it went well. And last year I had almost $10 million worth of listings before COVID happened. Now, unfortunately, I lost almost all those listings because of COVID. Everybody who I was working with happened to be 65 and older. And they were just like, there's no way I'm going to sell my house right now, because my plans were to move to New York or move to Vegas, or somebody wanted to move to Palm Springs. And for them, they couldn't see themselves doing that because they would feel like ultra isolated, considering that we had to stay at home and stuff like that. So they at least felt that they were in a community where they knew their neighbors and they knew people. Should anything happen, they could ask their neighbor to take care of, the dog or whatever. So my point is, by doing this different form of lead generation, it really, really helped me out. And by the by, which is just ship it, don't overthink it, just get it out there and start doing it. So good stuff. Thank you, Matthew. That was awesome. Okay, so here we are going to figure out our monetary goal. I'm sure everybody likes to know how much money they can make. So what is your annual monetary goal? Now that you know your big why, what will it take to fund your life and your big why? Write down your annual monetary goal here. So let's write down, take a second, everybody pull out a piece of paper, write down your monetary goal. Really think about it. Try to be realistic, but of course, it's okay to stretch it a little bit. But let's write down a monetary goal of how much money do you want to make this year? All righty. Okay, so let's just say it's, right here it says average sales price 200,000. That is definitely not an LA number, I'll tell you that much. But let's say you wanted to make $250,000, right?
I don't know that.
Not you, Alexa. Go away. No, Alexa, no. Go. Cancel. Okay. Sorry. Alexa is cancel. Sorry. The thing is listening to me, and it's anyway. So let's say you wanted to make $250,000 a year. So let's say our average sales price, and I'm telling you to write it down, and I don't have a pen and piece of paper down, so I should probably do that. But let's say our annual, does anybody want to share with me their monetary goal? Anybody? While I look for a pen, nobody?
I can share mine.
Yeah, let's do it.
Goal is to make 150,000.
150,000. I love it. 150,000. Boom. So we want to make $150,000. Okay, so let's get after it. Now that you've written down your monetary goal, let's look up what it takes to achieve this amount by calculating the average commission on each house bought or sold. So let's say the average sales price, let's just do some easy math. Depending on where you're working, where I work, it's about $1 million, let's just say, give or take. It probably is a little bit more these days, but let's say it's $1 million, $1, $2, $3 average sales price. Okay, and the average commission rate. This is saying 3%. I call bullshit. I think it's 2.5% in our market. And the average commission. Do we know how to figure out the commission? Well, I'll tell you how to figure it out. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to take that $1 million number, right? If you all have your calculator out, you can just use an iPhone for this or any calculator. $1 million. We are going to subtract 2.5 and we're going to hit the percent mark. Percent. So just minus 2.5 and then percent. And it's going to have, before you press equal, it's going to tell you right there, it's $25,000. So it is $25,000. Great. So that's your base right there. Now, what we're going to want to know is about our commissions is factor in our market center fees. So depending on what your split is, it might be different for everybody, but let's say it's 30%. Let's use this number. You're going to want to subtract, and then your royalty. Oh, okay. You're going to want to subtract that. Hold on, how do they have this? Anyway. But anyway, so let's say $25,000 is the average commission, whatever, but we cap at a certain amount. So once we make, the company, $30,000 or whatever it might be, we get 100% of our commission. So what I like to do for this equation is to just basically factor that in ahead of time. So for me, let's say it's $25,000 is the average commission. We're going to subtract 30% from that. So that actually turns into $17,500 until we cap. 25,000 minus 30%. So 7,500. 1 second. I'm going to tell you right now. Let's say it's $30,000 divided by 7,500. We need roughly around like 4 transactions to hit our cap. So that just so you know that. So basically now I'm getting a little bit confused in the numbers. But anyway, so the point is we want to figure out how many homes do we have to sell to basically hit that $150,000 mark. So without doing all the cap stuff, we have $150,000. We're going to divide it by, let's say 17,500. We would need to sell 8 houses in 1 year for you to get that number at $150,000. Now, it's actually less than that, but just for time's sake, and instead of doing all this math and whatnot, let's just say you want to sell around 8 houses a year, approximately. Is that doable, do you think?
Absolutely.
100%, big time. So I think that all of us can definitely hit our numbers pretty easily, as long as we're putting in the work, as long as we're doing our lead generation and really getting after it, we can hit the numbers if we need to. Now, frankly, it's going to be less than that because eventually she is going to hit her cap rate and she's not going to have to pay the commission back to the office. So the point is it's actually less than this, but that's a good number to go by. So for example, I think it was Lisa who were using your number. Is that right? I think so. In any event.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay, cool. So the point is if you write a big 8 sales, on your calendar, that's how many $1 million house, homes that you'll need to sell to hit that number. And just keep that in your mind so you're able to really visualize it and how much lead generation you need to be doing. So let's just say an annual net goal is, this one's perfect, is $100,000. The market center cap is 23,000. GCI plus A and B is 123,000. Average commission per transaction 6,000. So the annual transaction goal is 21 for this number. Now that's assuming that your average commission is $6,000, which guess what? For us, it's a lot more than that. So good for us. So keep that in mind, everybody. It is definitely attainable, especially in this market where we are located. All righty. Now, how many transactions will it take? Your turn. In the blanks, calculate the number of transactions to attain your personal income goal. So the annual net is 100 and let me see that. Yeah, it's 150,000. Your market center cap, I believe. Does anybody know what the market center cap is? I think it's 30,000. I don't remember though.
I thought it was 40 for some reason.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is.
I think it's 40.
40? Okay. 40,000. GCI plus A and B. So we're going to add these together. 190. Did I do that right? Yeah, 190,000. Average commission per transaction is, let's say it's 17,000. Again, this is a little bit light because we would hit our cap at that point, but just for easy math, let's just do it that way. And then we're going to divide our C and D. So 190 divided by 17,500. So let's call it 10 transactions, they're saying. But again, it's not exactly 100% on that. So you're going to want to hit at least 10 transactions, it said. So excuse me, it wasn't 8. So you got 2 more they got to do. But the point is doing 10 transactions in a year is definitely doable. And it's, believe me, if we were in another market, like let's say we were in Alabama or we're in, Wisconsin or we're in, Michigan or whatever, those numbers are going to be like 21, 30, 40, whatever it might be. So we really have a really awesome scenario here in Los Angeles that the sales prices are typically a lot higher. So keep all that in mind and make sure we stay up on our lead generation. Okay, journey to your monetary goal. If real estate was a factory, if you ran a factory, you would know how long it takes to make a widget, right? It would step 1 takes 2 hours, step 2 takes 2 hours, step 3 takes 2 hours, step 4 takes an additional 2 hours. So in total, to make that little widget running the factory, it takes 8 hours to make one little widget. You would also know that if you didn't do step 1, at the end of the day, you would have no widgets. Real estate is no different. So for real estate, it's time, lead generation, time, appointments, time, agreements, time, contracts, time, close, which equals 90 days. For every day you don't lead generate, 90 days later, you can expect no money. You don't want this to happen. So again, this is very big for all of us agents, is we need to make sure we're focusing on our lead generation. Because believe me, as long as we're doing lead generation, all the other things in the chain of process kind of happen on their own. So as long as we can find somebody who's who's willing and able, ready, willing, and able to buy or sell a house, the appointments, the agreements, the contracts, and the closing are all going to kind of just happen naturally. We don't really need to, focus too much on what that process is going to look like. It pretty much happens on its own. So the main thing that we really need to focus on is lead generation, because if you do enough lead generation, you'll get enough appointments. With enough appointments, you'll get enough agreements. With enough agreements, you're going to get enough contracts. With enough contracts, you will get closing and payday. So good stuff. Okay, discuss the following questions in class. How long, on average, does it take a buyer or seller to sign a contract for a sale or listing? Does anybody know that? Anybody? Takes about 60 days. About 60 days. About 2 months. Now, sometimes it could be longer for some clients. It could take up to 190 days, 180 days. It could take about 6 months. But just so you know, on average, it will take about 2 months to get them to really get moving. How long does it take for a transaction to close for you to get paid? About 30 additional days. So that's how they kind of came up to their 90 days right there, just so you know. How quickly do you want to get paid? How long can you go without a payday? So if we know, and by the by, everybody, feel free to chime in. It definitely helps to have a two-way combo with everybody. But how quickly do you want to get paid? I know for a fact that my baseline goal is I want a $10,000 payday at least every 30 days. That's what I want to get, and I've been doing it for the last couple months. And this payday that I'm going to have this month, it looks like it's going to be 20 something, thousand, which is great. I'm ahead of the curve. But that means if I want to get paid in April, do I just go, oh well, I got 20 this month, I can relax? No, I want to make sure I'm still getting another 10,000 that month. So I know that I'm going to need to be doing a lot more lead generation. I'm going to have to be reaching out to people right now for me to get that. And I really want to be on top of the ball and doing that. And right now I have about 10 A clients right now that I'm working with. And I promise you, maybe one of them will close. So you really want to be very proactive in going after these clients. What will it take for you to get paid so you can begin to fund your big why? Anybody, what is it going to take for you to get your big payday and fund the life that you want to live? What's our 20%?
Lead generation.
Boom. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about, Matthew. Thank you. I appreciate it. So this is my favorite pictogram, little picture that we have right here. And it's big on everything that we do. In every single module of this class, there is a picture of this. So the main thing is we want to look at lead generation like a funnel. The bigger our funnel is, the more leads we can capture. The more leads that we're able to capture, the more appointments we can get. The more appointments we get, the more agreements we get. The more agreements we get, the more contracts we get. And the more contracts we get, the more, come on, people. It says right there, payday. The more paydays we can get, more money. We want more money. So Ignite is focused on prospecting for leads. That's the main thing that we want to take away from this. Calling every session. We're not going to be doing this in Ignite just mainly because it would just be a little bit too distracting for us to be calling everybody at the same time. But we want to focus when we do call, we want to focus on some very, very important things, that the quality is in the quantity. So our 4 habits is growing and managing. These are the very important things that we can do every single day to grow our business and to make it a very, very profitable for us. And it starts with growing and managing your database. We want to add 10 new contacts into our contract database every day. This is important. So when we're thinking of our reaching out to people, once we have a conversation with somebody about buying, selling, investing in real estate, we want to make sure that we put them into our CRM so we can follow up with them later. We want to prospect. We want to talk to at least 10 people in our database every single day. Now, that could be as simple as, calling just to check in, see how they're doing, ask how their week's been, blah, 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 blah. And then, following up with like, hey, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, maybe looking for a house for you this summer. What are your thoughts? Are you still like looking at possibly doing that? Great. Okay. Have you talked with the lender yet? No, you haven't. No worries. We'll get to that later. Awesome. And then also you want to follow up with people. Write 10 notes to people or have recently connected with every single day. So just because I called you on Monday doesn't mean you're going to stop hearing from me. I'm going to write you a little letter or an email or something on Wednesday, just saying, hey, I really enjoyed our conversation. Hope you're doing well. You know, let's catch up soon and grab a cup of coffee or a drink or lunch or go to the beach or go on a hike or whatever it might be. But we want to make sure we're keeping in contact with people. Know your market. We want to preview 10 homes for sale every day and visit 10 in person every week. Now, during the pandemic, that might be a little bit difficult. So, you know, keep that in mind. What did I just do? Yes, I am still there. Okay. So this makes up our daily 10-4. And this is big in Ignite. This is what we want to focus on constantly is our daily 10-4. We want to make sure that every day, at least 6 days a week to begin, we want to do 10 of each of our daily 10-4, and we have 4 activities. So the 4 activities is growing our database, prospecting, following up, and knowing your market. And that basically consists of 10 new contacts in your database every day, 10 people in speaking to 10 people in our database every day, writing 10 handwritten notes or emails or text messages to people that we connected with every day, just kind of following up. Hey, really enjoyed our convo, blah, blah, blah. Let's link up soon. And then we also want to preview, which frankly in this pandemic could be just looking on the MLS, what's new on the market, what's sold recently, how much did it sell for, stuff like that. And we want to do this on a daily basis. That's our job. Really, our daily 10-4 is our job. We have a transaction coordinator for when we're in escrow. We have escrow when we're in escrow. I know it's kind of funny. You just want to, stay in contact with your escrow officers, see how everything's coming along. Are you waiting on anything? They'll let you know. We want our lender is the one who's going to be following up on our loan. We just need to check in with them occasionally. Hey, May, how's it doing? How's the loan coming along? Great. Do you need anything from me? Has my client signed everything? No, great. So all that stuff, when you're in escrow, you'd be surprised at how smooth the transaction is, as long as you have a great lender, a great escrow officer, and a great title person, and your transaction coordinator. Those will help run your escrows smoothly and efficiently so you can focus on your daily 10-4, because that's what we really need to be focusing on in real estate, and it's very important. So how to complete the daily 10-4. Grow and manage your database. Add 10 people to your database with complete contact information. Again, Cindy, I think we were talking about how it might be difficult to, get all the information when we're first talking with somebody, and that's okay. If we can at least get their Instagram, their Facebook, their phone number, their email address, whatever that might be, we can follow up and get all the other information later. So in a digital world, keep that in mind. This was written back in 2012 or 2015 maybe, but it was a different world back then. The world changes at light speed in this digital kind of world that we live in. So keep that in mind. I know that it might be a little bit tougher. I think in some areas in the United States, it might be a little bit easier to get, oh, let me get your address. I'd love to write you a letter. People in LA are not that nice. They think that it's weird if you ask for their address. But anyway, just keep that in mind. So just get as much info as you possibly can. Connect with 10 people in your database. Every day, connect with at least 10 people from your database. The purpose for the call or conversation is threefold. Let them know that you're in business, ask for their business, and ask for a referral. You can get these 3 things done without sounding like a salesperson. I promise you. I do it all the time. Follow up, write 10 notes. We're going to want to make sure we're writing 10 notes to people. And know your market, preview 10 homes per week. This is all pretty self-explanatory. Success tracking. We don't use this anymore. Again, this is an old, they haven't updated the Ignite class, but what we use now is a command. And you're able to track all of your contacts and all of your, your ratios of how much you're closing and stuff. And it actually can predict your business for you, which is pretty great. So get involved in command, and we usually do classes for that all the time. I think it's twice weekly. Okay.
Quick question.
Sure.
In regards to command, you mentioned Lion Desk. You kind of had mentioned that, and I know that command is kind of going through some updates right now. They're kind of like wiggling some stuff together on it. So do you recommend just, I mean, I don't even know if this is like a big question or not, but like, do you recommend us doing CRM on command, or is something like Lion Desk something maybe you use?
Yeah, so I'm supposed to say use command.
No, I know. That's, I don't want to put you in a corner.
No, but I will say this: use whatever CRM you're going to use. So if command is not working smoothly enough for you, use something that you will use until it is perfected. I do think that command is very effective as a base CRM, and I certainly use it. There are some things that really frustrate me about it. So, you know, I try to set up a touch campaign where it automatically emails people for me, and it's just not working. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, but I need to plug in and figure out how that's done, because I go on my MailChimp and it's just like click 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 done, and I'm done.
MailChimp's huge.
It's done. I'm done. I don't have to think about it anymore. It's the mail is sent. And I know it reached every single person I need. For some reason, there's some ins and outs, and I know that you can do it in command. I need to take time to take the command class and ask a couple questions about
But it is a lot of work to set up a CRM. That's why I wanted to ask, because it's, that first initial importing everything and putting all the notes in. And, I just wanted to make sure we go with the right one initially. So I think we'll look for the one that works best for us. And if that's command, we'll use it.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All righty. Thank you. That was a good question. Okay. Did you find everything? So skill number three, using influencing sales language. So you may have heard a couple of these things. Did you find everything you're looking for? Go ahead, look around. Please let me know if I can help you. I see you're admiring that large screen TV. Are you looking to have one in your home or for the big game this weekend? Recognize any of these phrases? Of course. We all know they are well-known and commonly used phrases in sales and service industries. Since you are now in a sales industry, your success is dependent on your use of real estate sales language. Since we are first in the business of lead generation, what are we really saying about our job? Fill in the blanks. So asking about their real estate needs and the needs of other people they know, basically. That's pretty much what I believe in the blanks right here. I know I have it filled out on another page, but I don't have it in front of me. But there are two ways of doing this. Entrepreneurial E, just chat up whoever happens across your path. And if real estate comes up, great. And if it doesn't, oh well, I'm sure they'll get the deal one of these days. Now, there is a bit of entrepreneurial aspect of lead generation, and that is my passive, form of real estate lead generation. That's if I'm sitting over at the, coffee shop, I'm having a couple drinks at Porta Via, I'm having a margarita, yeah, sure, I'll use that type of lead generation, absolutely. But the other way that we can do it is being purposeful, is to know exactly who you want to talk to, block time to communicate with them, and be prepared to have great conversations that lead to you providing value in exchange for them helping you grow your business, which can be incorporated into the entrepreneurial, just hanging around, talking, chit-chatting with people and whatnot. And it's important to use these purposeful, sales languages, stuff, and to ask for the business. It's okay. Feel free to get out there and do it. So which are you willing to bet your livelihood and well-being of your family on? E, entrepreneurial, or P, purposeful? I think most of us are going to say purposeful. Okay, scripts are cool. Purpose of scripts, benefits of scripts, learning scripts, and calling with scripts. The purpose of scripts. A great script is 100% customer-oriented and benefits the customer through the entire conversation. Have you ever listened to someone talk for a period of time and realize afterward that you have no idea what they were saying? It happens more than we might care to admit. Moreover, how often do you think we are being clear in our communication only to find that the other person didn't get it? Communication isn't about what you think you're saying, it's about what they actually hear. Scripts allow you to have a rehearsed response that delivers a powerful message in a way that will be best understood, or to ask a powerful question in a way that they will be able to quickly share the information you need to better serve them. Scripts are one way of moving you from E to P. All top agents use scripts and practice them daily. 100%. So we have a little video that we're going to watch. And oopsies. Here's the instructor resources on how to use scripts. So let's watch this video and go from there. We'll have a quick discussion about it.
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent at the office, your team leader, a MAPS coach, or of course, Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of, instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that leads to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or a closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there? Ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo. Oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily. Everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
All righty. So scripts. So by the by, how many people who are first time, and this is a time for everybody to chit chat right now, how many people thought they'd get into real estate because it could be part-time, you don't really have to work too hard, and you can create your own schedule, and you know, business will come to me. It's okay if that's what you're thinking. All right, good. Hopefully not a lot of us, but I know that I kind of thought that way originally. But the truth of the matter is what he said in this was very, very true. A football team practices 50 to 60 hours a week just for a 1-hour game. And, you know, we really have to take real estate and look at it like that. If you want to be a multimillionaire in this business, the way you're going to get there is practicing daily. And, you know, the truth of the matter is scripts is a very, very effective way to learn how to have communications or conversations, with our clients in a very predictable manner. We can get a lot of the information that we need through a very, very effective script. So while we have some time, what are some things that kind of stood out to us while going over this little video? Anything that stood out to you? Anyone?
For me, it was the body language and not necessarily just the words that you were saying, but just kind of your mannerisms. And I think asking questions more than just talking at the person. I didn't really think it would be like that.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And it, you know, we don't really think of it, you know, but it's kind of true. When I'm working with, like, if I'm buying a car or something like that, and the person's just like, this is what you need. I know what you need. Like, I'd be like, okay, dude, no. Like, don't talk to me. Now, if the person was actually taking the time to be like, hey, Jared, what brings you in today? Are you just looking around? Okay, cool. Well, do you know what kind of car you're looking to look around at or look for? Like, what kind of cars interest you? You know, they're asking questions to really figure out what my motivation is. So if let's go to the car analogy again. I walk in, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm just looking around. I go, okay, great. So what kind of cars are you interested in? Oh, well, I like pickup trucks. Well, obviously he's not going to show me a minivan, so there was a purpose for asking that question. Okay, so we've determined that I like pickup trucks. Well, oh, interesting, Jared. Well, you know, we got a lot of great cars, and some of them are happen to be pickup trucks. You know, we have the let's talk Fords real quick. Sorry if people don't like Fords. We have F-150. We have a Ford Ranger. We have you know, this, but we also have a couple of used cars. We have a Toyota Tacoma. Do you want to see any of those cars? Well, yeah, but I'm really only interested in, you know, a certain type of truck. Okay, well, what kind of features would that be? Well, I really want a crew cab. I want to have a truck that has 4 seats in it. Okay, great. So that's going to knock off a bunch of those things. And so, but the point is he's asking all these questions, or she's asking all these questions to determine how they could better help me or serve me in this process. So in real estate, it's the same thing. You know, we're going to ask probing questions to really try to better help the person. I remember when I first started in real estate, I started showing people homes that I liked. You know, when we were in the beginning phases of working with somebody, I didn't ask a lot of questions. They're like, yeah, you know, I want to look for a home. And I'd ask, okay, how many beds, how many baths, what area? Okay, great, I got it. And I'd find all the cool modern, you know, condos or homes or whatever that I like, and I would send it to them. And eventually they'd be like, oh, well, Jared, we really like this one. And they send it back to me, and it's like, you know, a Cape Cod or like, you know, something that I don't particularly care for, but that's what suits them. The reason why I'm bringing that up is if I were to ask a little bit more questions in that process, one, wouldn't they feel that they were being taken care of a little bit more? Yeah. Would I have been able to figure out what really drives them to maybe make a purchase? Absolutely. And so the great thing about scripts is that kind of has it embedded in the script. So, you know, when we learn scripts, we're able to kind of have the conversation memorized. It's almost like a game of chess. We've already figured out and predetermined where this conversation is going to go based on the questions that we're asking them. And believe me, it is very, very effective to have a sales conversation in that manner. 1 second, let me bring up the. Okay, Archer, I can hear you. I know. 1 second. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna let him out real quick. All righty. He got let out on his own, so good. Okay, so where are we? This is where we are. Okay. Let me see. I want to get down a little bit. Okay, let's go to learning scripts. Okay, so learning scripts. This is very, very important. And I think everybody should, and by the by, I'm going to try to finish this up by 2 o'clock. So sorry if this is taking a long time, but this is a very important class and I want to make sure we get as much in as possible. Okay, so learning scripts. In order to internalize scripts so they become our own and sound naturally and friendly, we begin by memorizing them. Both take time and practice. Now, can somebody mention a movie for me that they've seen that an actor and actress just, you thought they were just phenomenal in it? Like, just, oh my gosh, that was the best movie I've seen because of this actor or actress. Can anybody think of a movie? What movie was it, and what actor or actress was it?
Lady Gaga and I forgot the guy's name. A Star is Born, though.
Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
100%. I would have to agree with you. I love that movie. I was crying like a little baby at the end. Oh my gosh, it got me. And at any point when you were watching that, did you go, I can't believe this is Bradley Cooper, or I can't believe this is Lady Gaga? I've totally forgot it's them. And in fact,
I just forgot it was them, and it felt like it was real.
Oh my gosh, right? And how did they do that? Were they just like, going off the cuff, or did they memorize a script?
They memorize a script.
Yeah, they memorized the script big time.
And
And they
they
worked
believed it
on,
themselves.
sorry?
And they believed it themselves.
Yes, and they believed it themselves. And they got into character, frankly. And I don't want us to look at scripts and cold calling any differently. Use a script that you know, like, and trust, basically, kind of like how people choose real estate agents, and learn it from front to back. Stand in front of a mirror and practice it, and get to the point where you don't have to look at the script any longer and it just comes out naturally. Because by doing this, we'll be able to have these conversations very effectively, and it won't even sound like it's a script. They won't know that you already know what the next question is going to be, because it just sounds natural. And it's really, really important for us to do that. Because I will say this, while using scripts, all of us are going to eventually try this, and we're going to have a script in front of us, and we're going to be in a cold call, and we're going to go, oh my gosh, that sounded so bad. That sounded like it was like, hi, my name is Jared. I'm with Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. Is this? And they're going to hang up on you, and you're going to be like, oh man, that was horrible. But if we keep practicing those scripts, the next time we get onto that call, and maybe practice it ahead of time so you don't have this moment, because this is what taught me to learn the scripts a little bit better, is the next time you get on the call, you're going to make sure you had practiced before. And you're going to practice and practice and practice until you can't get it wrong. And eventually you're going to have a call where somebody is just talking about something crazy, and you're going to get off on this big old tangent, but you're going to remember your script, and you're going to be able to bring them right back to where you wanted them to be, and you're going to be able to continue that conversation to where you need to go. Has anybody on this call done any cold calling yet?
I have.
Yes, I have.
Perfect. Had either of you ever talked to somebody where all of a sudden the cold call and the conversation talks about their dog, or talks about something not what you called for? It could be the Lakers. It could be something, whatever. Has that ever happened to you?
For sure.
And all of a sudden you're in a deep conversation about their, puppy that they just took to the vet, and you're talking about something insignificant. And then you have to figure out, where were we in this conversation? Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's where a script comes in. So even if I have memorized the script, I am kind of going down with my finger, just like, hi, this is Jared Medlincy with Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. How are you today? Great. Hey, listen, I'm calling because I just sold your neighbor's property, and we sold for $45,000 over the market. And I'm just calling to see if you or anybody in the neighborhood is interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Oh, well, I don't really know. I'm talking to blah, 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 blah. And, there's talk about something nonsense. And I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's fascinating. I have a dog too. He's really, really funny. But right there, I have my finger stuck right where I left off on the script. And after we're done talking about the dog, or the this or the that, all of a sudden I go, well, great. So the reason why I was calling is again, I was just curious to see if you or anybody is interested in buying or selling in real estate. Oh yeah, I've thought about it. Great. So you've thought about selling, and what's preventing you, or is there anything that's on your mind? Like, is there any reason why you haven't decided a list yet? Well, I'm waiting for the market to go up. Interesting. Have you seen what's been happening in the market lately? Well, I don't know. You want to tell me? Sure. Let's set up a time to talk. I'd love to give you a comparative market analysis on your home's value, and then we can discuss if it's right for you to consider selling. And the point is that with knowing my script, I'm able to just stay right on point and right on topic, and I'm able to reel it back into real estate. So it's very, very good stuff. Okay. So some ways that you are able to practice scripts is obviously with a partner. So if you would like, I highly recommend people, adding each other on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and actively reach out to people in this class to see if they'd be open to practicing scripts with you. I'm not the best script partner, admittedly. I will, if you can't find anybody, please reach out, and I'm happy to practice scripts with you. But sometimes I get a little bit busy, and I'm able to have conversations, but I can do 15 minutes, and stuff. But so feel free to reach out to me if you want. I'm happy to practice with you. But I often think that practicing with another student sometimes is even better. So record yourself saying the scripts on your phone and play them back while driving, speaking along with the recording. Do this daily. I've done this before and it really, really helps actually. Also, it helps to just hear how you sound. Sometimes you might breeze through the script really quickly and be like, oh gosh, I really need to slow down and enunciate a little bit further. Surprisingly enough, I might talk fast in class, but when I'm cold calling, I purposely slow myself down. You'd be surprised that when you're listening to a news anchor, they're actually a little bit slower than the average cadence of how people talk. You know, I'm trying to think of, you know, they're very articulate in how they word things. It's not, hi, my name is, I'm going to use Chris Cuomo. If you hate CNN, I'm sorry, I don't care. But my point is I'm going to use Chris Cuomo, for example. He's very energetic. He's very powerful with what he says, but I'm Chris Cuomo, let's get after it. And the point is he's very methodical of how he speaks, even though he does sound very engaging and energetic and, you know, whatever, it's actually a little bit slower than the average speech pattern. So keep that in mind when you're cold calling. You might want to slow it down a little bit. That doesn't mean you have to, you know, not sound energetic and excited or whatever, but you can do it. Okay, so memorizing steps, you want to read it, you want to repeat it, you want to read it, and you want to say it, and you want to say it, and you want to say the entire script again. So the point is it's with practice, going over and over and over again is going to be the best way. And break the script up into segments. So instead of just reading the whole thing and trying to memorize the whole thing at once, do the first paragraph. Say that over and over again, then say it again. Say it over and over again. Now try to memorize it and say it. And close your eyes and say it again and say it again and say it again and check to see if you got it right. And keep doing that practice over and over again. Again, pretend you are Lady Gaga or Bradley Cooper trying to memorize a script for, what's that movie again, Cindy? A Star is Born. Yeah, so try to do it that way. And by doing this 6-step process, it's a way that the scripts will become natural to you. And then eventually you might want to go jump around the script a little bit and see if you can memorize it, even if it's not in perfect order. These are all great ways to memorize the script.
Hey, Jared, real quick.
Yes.
Something I'd heard as a piece of advice, and I'm sure you agree, is don't practice on clients. You know, don't practice your script on people that are potentially your income. And I put our info in chat. We're down to talk with anybody to do scripts, buyer, seller, whatever, so that we all look goofy to each other and not the people that are gonna get us money.
Totally. Now, I would actually argue if you're already good at scripts, clients are the best ones to practice with because it turns you could potentially make some money. But I'm kidding. But yeah, absolutely. I think that it's very important to work on scripts ahead of time. So when you do come down to actually working with a client, it's a little bit more natural. And absolutely, I do happen to agree with you in reality. Okay, so we're going to do our first little stab at some scripts real quick, everybody. So if you have been kind of halfway paying attention, now is a good time to perk up because I'm going to call on people randomly. And we're going to go ahead and read these scripts. They should be on my screen. Hopefully they are. Yes, they are. So, new to real estate. Morgan, are you new to real estate?
I am. Just
Awesome.
read the left side of the paragraph.
Actually, I'm going to go down to this one. New to the area. Man, you're not so new to LA. You've been here for 2 years. Okay, yeah, let's do new to real estate. So you're going to read the first portion that I have highlighted right now. I don't know if it's highlighting on your end, but it is on mine.
I can't see your highlight. Is it just new to real estate, the first paragraph?
New to real estate, and then the arrow goes to the rest of the script.
Okay.
And I will be the person you're talking to, so wait for my interaction and pauses as if we were actually doing a cold call.
Right. Okay, here we go. Hello, this is Morgan Dixon. Do you have a moment?
Hey, Morgan. Yeah, sure. What's up?
Great. I'd like to share the exciting news that I've become a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty at Beverly Hills. With this,
So awesome, Morgan. Congratulations.
thank you. See, I should have waited for you. Okay, continuing. With this new partnership, I have all their knowledge working for me. Plus my clients get all my enthusiasm and hard work. I thought about sharing this with you because I knew you would be someone to help me grow my business.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to help any way that I can.
Great. Okay, and then so I should continue over.
Yeah, to the rest of the script.
Okay. So first, here, so let me, hold on, I have to move the, okay. So first, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. Actually, you can see what's going on from anywhere, from your street to any place in North America, and it's free. So there's no cost to you. Can I send you a text to the link? Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure. I like apps. Apps are good. Send me, yeah, here's my number. It's 310-386-8590. Feel free to send me that over.
Perfect. I'll send you that as soon as we get off the call. And then I'd like to ask, who might you know from work or your neighborhood or a group you belong to who's interested in buying or selling a home or perhaps investing in real estate?
My cousin Adam was thinking of selling his house. I'm happy to get you two in contact. Could I text him your number?
Sure. After we get off the call, along with the app, maybe we can set up that contact and tell him to reach out to me, or I can reach out to him as well.
Sure.
So perfect. Thank you so much for that. And then along with that, I have a wealth of interesting and timely information about the real estate market in your area, and I'd love to send it to you. So let me make sure I have your current email and address for that.
Sure. It's jaredmarcusm@gmail.com.
Perfect. And just do me a favor, please. If you do hear of someone with a real estate need, please keep me in mind.
Sure, absolutely.
Great. And after you download the app and try it out, send me a text and let me know how you like it. And I just want to thank you for your time and let me know if there's anything else I can do for you.
Thank you so much, Morgan. That's awesome. Cool. Good job. That's awesome. And yeah, so, I think that that's a great script. And, frankly, a lot of the scripts that Keller has are a little bit wordy. And what I like to say, which is exactly what the material was saying, is memorize a script first, and then you can kind of custom tailor it to your needs. And that way it sounds a little bit less, canned, a little bit less wordy, and it's able to come off as natural as possible. But I do think that this script
Sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say there's definitely a few lines in there that I would absolutely take out or just kind of like tailor to what sounds more natural. But
well, for example, let's try the script one more time. And I think I'll be the new to real estate, and you can be the person I'm calling.
Okay.
So, and I'll show you kind of how I've kind of turned it into. I don't really use this script a lot, but I remember I've done this a couple times that I can kind of do it the way that I like to do it. So, ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Morgan. This is Jared Medlinski with Keller Williams. Do you have a moment?
Hey, Jared. I do.
Hey, awesome. I'd really like to share some exciting news. I just joined Keller Williams Realty, and with this new partnership that I have all this knowledge and working for me, plus my clients get all my enthusiasm and hard work. I really thought of you that you could be the person that helps me grow my business, and I'd love to see if you'd be willing to help.
Sure.
Awesome. So first, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. I can send it to you real quick. It's free. Can I have your number? Can I just send it to this number rather?
Yeah, just send it to 251-680-4468.
Awesome. And I'd also like to know if you know anybody who's interested in buying, selling in real estate. Could be anybody from your neighborhood, somebody you work with, maybe family members.
I don't have anyone off the top of my head, but if I do know of someone, I can definitely refer you.
Awesome. Well, just so you know, I have a wealth of interesting and timely information about the real estate market in your area. I just want to make sure I have your current email address so I can send you some updates.
Sure, I'd love that. It's mtaylordixon100@gmail.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And do me a favor, if you do hear of anybody, I know that you just said that you don't really know anybody right now, but if you do hear of anybody, will you keep me in mind?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And before we get off the phone, just when you start using the real estate app, just let me know how it's working. We just developed it about a year ago, so I'd love your information. And frankly, if there's anything that you could think of to let me help you a little bit better, please feel free to reach out.
Sure, will do.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. You too.
So, I mean, I just breezed through that really quickly. I haven't done the script in, a few weeks, but, really what I like to look at is the first couple sentences in the paragraph. And I stop reading after that and I just kind of go from there. And that helps me to make it a little bit more conversational. And it just, I feel I'm gliding through the conversation a little bit easier. And now, granted, I want us to read everything verbatim first when we're just kind of learning these, because there are a couple like subtle nuances in here in some verbiage that I do think is really, really beneficial. But yeah, I mean, frankly, I kind of shortened this script up. The one that I actually did used to use this when I was just like truly cold calling. I used the rest of the script version. And I just really shortened it to like maybe a sentence or two in all of this. And because I was just doing dialing for numbers basically. So yeah, absolutely. I would definitely feel comfortable with you taking these scripts and kind of twerking them a little bit. Okay, so who is, oh no, Jaime left. He was new to Keller Williams. I wanted him to do that one. Oh well. Okay, let's see. Who wants to do remind them that you're in real estate? Who is not new to real estate? Everybody's new to real estate. Okay. So let's see. If I could have Amber, let's get you to do, which one do you want to do? Remind them you're in real estate? Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, sorry, my dogs are going nuts in the other room. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
all good. All good.
Okay, so I'll do number 3.
Yeah.
Okay, hello, this is Amber. Do you have a moment?
Yeah, sure.
It's been a while and I'd like to apologize for not staying in touch. I've been busy growing my real estate business and working with great clients like you. I wanted to share with you that I have a personal goal to help 10 families get into the home of their dreams this year. As you already know, I'll do whatever it takes to help people. Can I count on you to help me reach my goal?
Absolutely, Amber, 100%.
Awesome. And then should I move over?
Yep.
Okay. First, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on anywhere from your street to any place in North America. It's free. There's no cost to you. I can send it to you in a text so you can link to it. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And I'd like to ask, who might you know from work, your neighborhood, or a group you belong to who's interested in buying or selling a home or investing in real estate? Can you think of anyone?
Yeah, sure. My buddy, my cousin Adam, I'll send you his number.
Awesome. Thanks for that. I also have a wealth of interesting and timely information about the real estate market in your area, and I'd love to send it to you. Let me make sure I have your current email.
Sure, it's jaredmarcusm@gmail.com.
Great. And do me one more favor, please. If you do hear of someone with a real estate need, will you keep me in mind?
Absolutely, 100%.
Great. And after you download the app and try it out, send me a text and let me know how you like it.
Will do.
Thank you for your time and help. Please let me know if there's anything I can ever do for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Amber, for the call. Cheers. Okay, so for example, this is one of those scripts right here that I don't know how well it would work in Los Angeles, frankly, but we could try it. For example, hello, it's been a while and I want to apologize for staying in touch. I've been busy growing my real estate business and working with great clients just like you. I want to help share with you that I have a personal goal to help 10 families get into the home of their dreams this year. As you already know, I'll do whatever it takes to help people. May I count on you to help me reach my goal? So I might shorten that up a little bit and just do something like similar to, hi, this is Jared. Do you have a moment? Great. It's been a while. I apologize for not keeping in touch, but listen, I wanted to follow up with you. I know that we haven't found the house that you want yet for whatever reason. Insert the blank. But I do have a very lofty goal that I just recently set, and I want to be able to help at least 10 people get into the home of their dreams. Can you think of anybody besides yourself who's still interested, in possibly looking or in the market that I could possibly help? And then, kind of do the script that way. I do think this is a little bit canned and a little hokey, so to speak. But I think it's a great script, and the base of what the script is really, really awesome. You're telling them that you have a goal, you're trying to reach it. That's the purpose of your call. You're following up with them. The message in there is perfect. I do agree, like with what Morgan was saying earlier, that you might want to change some of the verbiage a little bit, but these scripts are great beginning places for us to take out and implement into our cold calling. So I highly recommend taking these scripts, and if you want to, change the verbiage a little bit, but the message and the order of operations of the message should more or less be identical. But yes, if your verbiage just doesn't work, talking like that, then 100% change it. And I think that would be still an extremely effective script. Just so you know, a lot of these scripts seem very to the point, and that's okay. One of the highest producing teams in Keller Williams in Los Angeles is the Richard Schulman team. And I believe his script is so to the point, it might be shocking to you. And it's literally, hi, this is, hold on. I'm a client call now, so I can't script now. However, I did. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Osain. Okay, so I think his script is something like, hi, this is Jared with the Richard Schulman team. Do you or anyone you know are you or anyone you know interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Done. That's the script. And they're like the top producing team out of like almost all the offices, and they do the highest number of volume, and that's their script. So, keep in mind, being to the point when you're cold calling especially is a-okay. And, obviously they have a little bit of a checklist that goes down. If they say yes, they have like another script that they go into. And if they say no, they go, great, do you know anybody else who's interested? And they say no again, thank you for your time, and they move on to the next call. So be very purposeful with your scripts, especially if you're cold calling. If you're warm calling, like reminding them that you're in real estate, you might want to be a little more conversational. But all these scripts are great, but don't worry if you feel like it's a little too much to the point. That's okay. Surprisingly enough, you'd be surprised at what you can get just by asking the right questions. Okay. So this is when we would go ahead and make some phone calls. Again, I do think that everybody should be doing these calls. And honestly, there's a great, I forget the what we did exactly, but for example, you'll pick A's in your phone, and A's and M's. So everybody in your A group and in your phone list. So everybody named Amy, everybody named Amber, everybody named Alex, I'd give him a call and I'd just say, hey, Alex, it's Jared Medlinski. Just want to check in. How you doing? Cool. Hey, listen, I have this really lofty goal. I just had a meeting with everybody in my office that I want to help 10 families get into the home of their dreams. I was just wondering if I can count on you, and maybe some people who are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Can you think of anybody who you'd like to refer to me? Oh, hey, Jared, good to hear from you. I don't know anybody personally, but I would like to actually start buying. Awesome, dude. Well, let's talk about that. Where are you looking? What are you interested in? Have you talked to a lender yet? And then I'd literally go through all the A's in my phone. And then once I'm done with my A's, I'd move to my M's. And there's a reason why they do that. They just want you to pick random like letters in your phone, so you don't get very specific. Because sometimes what will happen is you'll go through the A's, and then you'll get down to the B's, and you'll be like, oh, but I don't want to call Brett. Oh, but I don't want to call Brittany. But the point is you're just trying to go through the numbers, and you're trying to call every single person. And that's also a very effective way to lead generate, is just go through your phone book and just start dialing, and really just, hey, it's Jared. Just want to see how you've been. Also let you know that I just joined Keller Williams, and I have a lofty goal of selling 10 homes to different families. And I was just wanted to call to see if you or anybody have any interest in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, and helping me to achieve my goal? And if they say yes, great. If they say no, like, oh darn, well, how you been anyway? And continue the conversation that way, and then just have like a genuine I care call. But those are really effective ways, especially if you're just starting in real estate, to get the ball rolling. Awesome.
I have a quick question, sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so besides the people that are in your contacts already, like how would you get phone numbers for different people or people in the area to start your cold call?
So it sounds like you should definitely focus on people who are in your contact list first.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like you might be avoiding it.
I haven't tried yet, to be honest with you.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's okay. And if you're like, nah, bro, I'm calling people left and right, then never mind. But if my assumption is a little bit right, which I could be wrong, because I was scared to do this, I'll share a little story with you. I took this thing called Bold, in Keller Williams does it, and it's an intensive, like, I forget how many days, but you do this course with a Bold coach, and they do this exercise. And I remember this exercise to this day. He's like, write down somebody who you haven't talked to in a long time and you left on a bad note. And I was thinking, and I was like, oh, wow. My old boss, Brian, I literally just walked out of the office one day and just didn't return. Swear to God. And that's when I got into real estate. I just said, fuck this, excuse my French. I'm out, I'm gone. I'm not working here anymore. And I went and signed up for real estate classes and I got my license. And 6 months later, I was a real estate agent. I was like, I'm done with this guy. I don't want to work anymore. But the truth of the matter is I liked him as a person. I just, we just didn't get along in the office, frankly. And he was the owner's son and, stuff like that. And yeah, great. I left on a bad note. I was pretty sure he was pissed at me, but in reality, anyway, so my point is I wrote that guy's name down. So then the instructor said, all right, so everybody who wrote that name down, you're going to give them a call right now in class. No ifs, ands, or buts, and I will not, give you credit for the class, and you're going to, lose your whatever money and da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, so there was a big incentive to make the call. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to call this guy. Oh my fucking God, this guy's going to scream at me. He's going to be so angry to hear from me. So sure enough, I give him a call and I go, hey, Brian, it's Jared. I just wanted to call you and say, listen, I saw that you just had a kid and that you just got married. And, I just wanted to say congratulations, on the new baby. And, I also wanted to call and just say, hey, sorry, I just kind of walked out of the office. I just kind of realized I needed to make a career change, and it wasn't really about you or anything like that. I got love for you and your family and stuff, but I also just wanted to call and just, let you know that. And he's like, hey man, I really appreciate you making that call. That's really awesome. And listen, I know I was kind of, hard on you occasionally in the office, but it came from a place of caring. And I was like, well, Brian, I really appreciate you saying that. But listen, I'm in real estate now, and I have to be honest, a lot of the sales stuff that you taught me when I was in construction, I use today in real estate. And he's like, Jared, I actually need to sell my old condo because I just got married and we just bought this house, but I still have my